Okay. I think that's better. It's funny that sounded quite literally like a locust, didn't it? For those of you in the AMP lobby, I'm sorry about that. I think I fixed the problem here. If someone in the YouTube chat can tell me if you guys can hear me okay. Sorry. I don't know if that you guys could hear that noise in the chat, but that was loud. Of course it happens on the biggest episode of the season. But that took away from the drama of the moment, didn't it? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever it is in the world that you may be. For the last time this season, whether it's your first time here or your last, maybe somewhere in between. We can sleep when we're dead, but for now, we talk less. Bear with me here, because once again, I am a one-man show, and if tech goes down, there is no one here to fix it but myself. But that is not the story of this evening. Story tonight. Golden State Warriors, fourth championship in last 8 seasons. 7th NBA title in their team's franchise history. You know, we've done a lot of box score breakdowns. This is going to be a long show tonight, guys, so please, there's no urgency. Kick your feet up. We're going to be here a while. If the stream gets to 500 likes, we'll even do an after party, and I would suggest getting it there because this is the last show of the 2022 season. What else? We discussed the beginning, and even after the last game, that I thought we were going to find out the answer to the question with the Celtics by the time this playoffs was over. Would it be the best team that wins or the team with the best player? And in the end, I think we all have to admit that the Warriors had both. Now, the Celtics, most certainly, I think we even still all agree, from top to bottom, in terms of their rotation, talented basketball players. If you take away the context of the moment, you're just playing pickup 100 times to 21. I'm going to assume the Celtics probably win a majority of those games. But in this moment, with a team that has been there so many times, whether they were the best team or not, I think we have to put a newfound priority. We have to assign a brand new value to veteran experience, momentum, and when the spotlight is bright, who's going to come through for you? And there was, in that third quarter, despite the lead getting up to 20, once again, 20-point leads in the NBA. 20-point leads in the NBA are the equivalent of touchdowns in football. They went up by 20. The avalanche happened in the third quarter. Game still wasn't over. Jaylen Brown was leading them back. Quick 7-0 runs out of nowhere. But the Warriors had so many clapbacks that thank God I take notes on the game, because I lost track of how many times Otto Porter, Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins hit 3-pointers tonight when the roof was about to come off the TD Garden a couple of times there. And Steph Curry just ascended to a level of basketball immortality. It is if you consider basketball a religion, what we just witnessed tonight and in this series from him is a divinity that we've never seen in his career. From only a handful now on 2 hands, now that you probably have to put Steph Curry into the top 10 all-time conversation, that in the history of the game of basketball, a majority of those players in the top 10, none of us were alive for. That we're experiencing this level of divinity live in person, that we get to tell people what we witnessed tonight and how easy he makes the moment look in this moment with the amount of pressure that was on him. And there were times where the Celtics couldn't have defended any better. And this dude just did not stop delivering daggers. He has truly changed the game of basketball. And that is, whenever you get, we're not going to do it tonight, but a part of if anyone ever asks me, is it Jordan? Is it LeBron? We get into those crazy GOAT conversations. And I always tend to bring up Kareem because I put value in guys that change the game, that make them change the rules, that make teams play differently, you know? And the way that Steph Curry can draw a defense 40 feet away from the rim like he did in that third quarter tonight. They had to double team this guy 40 feet away from the rim. And whether he even has the ball in his hands or not, what that does for your offense, we've never seen anything like it. We had never seen anything Kareem skyhook. He developed the skyhook because they banned dunking because of Kareem. So he invented the skyhook. Steph Curry's pulling up from 40 feet away, and his defenses have to face guard him from that far. That's never been done before, even with the great Ray Allen. Even with someone like Reggie Miller. Think of any historically great long-distance shooter in NBA history. They never had an impact on the game, on the defense having to cover them from that far out. It's also an evolution of the game with the spacing on the floor, too. It's just you got 5 guys standing outside the three-point line as opposed to the 90s, right? The game is just simply played differently than it was. But what Steph Curry did to this team tonight, that is the best defense in the NBA, okay? Statistically, eye test, it's still, even in defeat, is going to go down as the best defense in the NBA this season. Regular season, playoffs, finals, they checked all the boxes. But they felt mortal. They felt mortal. And they felt mortal during the Eastern Conference side of the bracket as well, didn't they? Blowing leads, going down 3-2 to Milwaukee, almost blowing it to Miami. But they had 0 combined minutes in the finals. And that was the stat above all. I think that is going to prove the most important when we tell the story of this series. The inability to close game 4. The inability to extend leads. Their star player who has enough potential and honestly current talent to be the best player on the floor with a Steph Curry out there. I wouldn't have put it past Tatum to outduel Steph Curry simply because I think he's got that level of talent as an offensive player. And for him to not, it wasn't that he no-showed, because I think he led the series in points still. I would have to look that up, but he was first in points. But for him to have such a mortal, that's going to be the theme tonight. Mortal, just a mortal impact on this series that Jaylen Brown was the MVP of that team in these finals. And it's an experience in which the Celtics will probably be back in a very similar position next year. But I'm trying to find a way to tell you that he just had a bad couple of nights. And it's hard to watch when he's that disengaged, facing elimination in a Game 6 at home. Because we took it for granted in the past how many times that Jayson Tatum had that Jayson Tatum had pulled them from the depths of hell. And I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but it's just more so a reaction to this specific series because Tatum surely did his part in burying the Nets. You don't beat Giannis Antetokounmpo without Jayson Tatum being equally as good. You don't survive against the Miami Heat without Tatum being able to close. So we shouldn't forget those things. But the finals are different than the playoffs, and the playoffs are different than the regular season. And in this very moment, he did look mortal. 7 Wabisms already in the chat. I don't think I've done that many. I said Jaylen Brown was probably the most valuable player for the Celtics, but Robert Williams III is getting some love here in the chat. And he was their most important player this series, the same way that Draymond Green, every day of the week, every day that ends in Y. This is why you want him in your foxhole. He's easy to make fun of. You can get those jokes off about his podcast. But he had one of the best games of his career tonight. I haven't seen someone, you want to talk about leaving your print on a game, impacting a game. Draymond on the defensive side, and he didn't even need to score, and he did the scoring tonight too. He checked every box. But the way he influenced every single Jaylen Brown drive, we put such an emphasis on on closing out defensive possessions. And with Robert Williams lurking out there, Al Horford pulled in 50. He had his best game of the series too tonight. Al Horford pulling in so many rebounds that Draymond was able to close out these possessions for the Warriors. I will never forget that. And how many times have we seen these very performances from Draymond? I mean, when he's bad, he's really bad. And he got benched at one point in this series. But if you want another Wabism, the assembly line, the engine that is the Golden State Warriors cannot operate without oil. And Draymond, from the very beginning, has been the oil. He is without a doubt, even with Steph Curry becoming the first conference finals, NBA finals, and hell, I think he even won the All-Star game MVP too. Draymond Green is still the most irreplaceable player on this team. Period. I don't know how many years I've said it, but it could not be shown any more true than tonight. Now we have to start getting into the conversation. That's 4 and 8 years, right? Now we have to start getting into the conversation of, if the Warriors do this again next year, are we putting them into the Celtics, Lakers, Bulls dynasty territory? It's starting to get there. I mean, what's the definition of a dynasty? How many do you have to get in a decade for it to be considered a dynasty? I think 4 puts you in the conversation, 5 solidifies you, and then 6 is arguably the greatest of all time. You know, that they couldn't pull it off with the greatest, with what would have gone down as the greatest team of all time. That was the one year they didn't win it. That was the one year they couldn't pull it off. Will that still forever stain the dynasty? I don't know. That's a conversation for another day. But as of now, in this moment, I didn't know that Steph Curry could evolve any further. And it's like you expect it to, watching this game, right? But am I not the only one that's still surprised when they go in? I'm just, at some point, this dude has to miss, right? He has to miss a big-time shot like that. And every time it goes in, I just feel like I'm watching something special. And that's probably the story of the season for me. You know, you guys know I've watched a lot of basketball. I've watched every single dribble of every single game for the past 8 years now. Seen a lot of bad basketball. But once again, it wasn't about individual play superseding the team. It was a bunch of players who made up a team, not a team made up of a bunch of players. They were smaller. They were less athletic. On paper, if this was a boxing match, you know sometimes how when a boxer goes up a class and someone comes down a class and they meet at a catch weight, the first thing they do after they do the weigh-in is the heavy guy goes and drinks water and he adds 10 pounds. And it felt like the Celtics were the one coming down in the class with a 15-pound advantage and a 3-inch reach. Greater than their opponent. And they still got beat. Other themes from this series was going to be speed versus, not speed versus size. Yeah, I guess we'll just call it speed versus size. More so, speed versus physicality. And only once out of 6 games did the physicality rise above the rest, and that was in Game 3. We got to the championship rounds. One of the questions that we're about to ask here when we go through the notes. Who was going to force the other team to play their style? Speed versus physicality. And how worn down the Celtics got having to play transition basketball, that their level of defense suffered as a result of it. If you take so many jabs to the chin or your liver, at some point they add up. And now that we got to the championship rounds in Game 6, to see them not getting back on defense because Draymond Green is closing out and then just goes on a dead sprint down the court And at the very least, it forces the Celtics to have to run back. Let me tell you, running back on defense is a lot more tiring than running up the court on offense. Boxing fight analogy in a lot of different ways. And I honestly couldn't tell you at the beginning of it. This was more my worry. Was with the Al Horford and the Robert Williams, would it be Draymond that couldn't push the pace? How did these old geezers compared to what the Celtics have on their team? How did they outlast, outwit, and outplay and survive the Boston Celtics defense? That suffocated Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jimmy Butler. I mean, those are players worthy, certainly, of superstardom associations. Y'all like that Survivor, huh? Those 2 years when the Warriors were the joke of the league. We all saw the vision. I've got a couple of tweets that I was looking up and I was just laughing at. There was a lineup that had Dragan Bender, I think Marquise Chris, Kai Bowman, Glenn Robinson III, Damian Lee was that Warriors lineup there for a couple months back in 2020. And they didn't play basketball, if I'm not mistaken, between March 2020. They were one of the teams that didn't go to the bubble and then had all their guys hurt before it. I don't think they played Draymond and Steph for almost 2 years, right? Even Klay, too, being hurt. These guys didn't play for years. And you can see what it meant to Steph Curry because I'm sure every championship is emotional, but to see it on Steph's face knowing that it felt like that this was almost the first in a way because the Warriors have been reborn post Kevin Durant. They're back to the same formula that got them here in the first place. And for them to be burned down to dust and rise like the Phoenix back into their dynasty form, they're going to be favored again next year. You can see why that's overcoming. Now he knows there was a difference. The first time is nothing's better than your first. After the third, it was, God damn, we're good. But now they're approaching a level of basketball that has arguably only been done a couple of times, and they have potential to go down as the unanimous greats dynasty of all time if they can do this 2 or 3 more. There's a lot of basketball to be played, but you can see it on Steph's face with the emotion of the moment, and that it definitely still matters. Those are initial thoughts, level-headed initial thoughts of what we witnessed tonight. If you would have told me that Mark Tatum was the only Tatum that showed up tonight, I would have slapped you across the face. And it ended up being true. Oh, these are not the notes. We haven't even gotten to the notes yet. Y'all better grab a drink. Better drink, kick up your feet. It's going to be a night. We're at 290 likes here in the chat. Shout out to the 1,000 of you watching this right now. If you wouldn't mind just hitting that like button for us. If we get this stream to 500, we'll do an after party. And at the very least, if you enjoy this content, and you've enjoyed this content throughout the season, all we simply ask in return is you subscribe to the channel and you hit the like button. Keeps us, maybe we'll come back and do it next year if you guys show enough love back. I also see you guys over here in the AMP lobby. I'm going to be taking calls from Warriors fans. I know there's one in particular that everyone wants to hear from. We'll get to all of them in a little bit. There's 122 of them here waiting to speak. AMP, A-M-P. You can download it in your Apple iTunes store. Come on over. And at the very least, just download it. Come hang out in the room and follow the account. All this stuff helps, right? We're not behind a paywall. Help us out a little bit. We're trying to grow the community. All right. Let's get to it. Game 6, NBA Finals. Oh my God, why are there so many notes? God, there were so many moments from this game. Let's get to it, shall we? A couple of stats that I was looking forward to. A couple of things that I was going to be watching for. Coming into tonight, the Celtics were plus 32 with Robert Williams III on the floor, minus 41 with him off. Correct stat. I don't even want to look to see what it was tonight. Once again, most important player in this series for both teams, Draymond Green, Robert Williams III. Plus 32 on off, minus 41 off for Robert Williams III and the Celtics. That's how special he's been. He's going to get paid this summer, and he was doing this on arguably 1.5 knees. He came back early, and he still was able. You want to talk about someone leaving their mark, win or lose? Robert Williams III deserves all sorts of applause. And by the way, did he miss a free throw? Talk about a big guy that can elevate at that level, and we just take it for granted that he makes free throws at like 100% clip. Super impressive from him. The Celtics were 3-0 in elimination games this postseason. The Warriors were 0-3 in closeout road games. And the Celtics have never lost 3 straight finals games, ever. A couple stats, early stats of the night there from the community here. The questions that we asked, that we figured determine the results of the games in this series. Only once, I think it was game 4, that these 7 questions did not line up with the appropriate result, or whoever won, the answers were parallel to. Can the Celtics defense force the Warriors to turn the ball over more than their regular season average? That was 15 per game. We know about the Celtics' problems, but this question is about the Warriors. Tonight, 17 turnovers for the Warriors, and they still win. That's a no. Can the Celtics punish the new mini death lineup with their size? That's a no. Will the Celtics defense interrupt the Warriors' free-flowing offense enough that they pivot to a pick-and-roll strategy? That's a no. Can the Celtics win a game without winning either the fast break point total and or points off of turnovers? Warriors go 13-12 on the fast break points tonight. Points off of turnovers, 27-20 in favor of Golden State. That was 23 total team turnovers for the Boston Celtics tonight. 23. Their average coming into tonight in the series was 17.6. 27 points off 23 turnovers. Unfathomable number. Can the Celtics win the clutch? They were in the red coming into the series. Golden State was plus 12. I don't think we ever technically got to the clutch, but we sure as hell know who won the last 5 minutes. Who's going to get tired first? Who's going to make the other team bend to their will and have to play their style? The Warriors. And how is Steve Kerr going to assign his bench minutes? And did it work? Tonight, Jordan Poole, 18. Gary Payton, 20. And Kevon Looney, 22. Needless to say, I think that worked. 6 of the 7 questions result in a Warriors victory. I think we nailed that one, chat. Only once did the majority of those questions not line up with the parallel result. You know what time it is. It is time for some notes. I'm going to sit up. Did I miss anything from the post-game press conferences? Because I've got it on in the background, but I obviously can't hear it. You know what's coming next, and I'm about to go deep dive into the notes here. My guess was Tatum is going to reveal that he has an injury, either today or tomorrow. He has a more serious injury, and we just were led astray. That seems to be the biggest layup. No. Okay. No notes. No comments here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the Game 6 notes. Once again, these are chronological order from beginning to end. The emotion of the moment, they're subject to change as they progress, but these are the what-if moments from a championship-clinching Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Al Horford remains in the starting lineup at tip-off. That was did that question backfire on me tonight. I was at the point, I'm willing to fall on my sword when the takes are incorrect. I thought it was at the point that Al Horford needed to be subbed out of the game for Grant Williams in the starting lineup and flip-flopping their minutes. And Al Horford was awesome tonight. But that was my biggest question here, considering Horford getting exposed in the drop coverage, in the high screens. He didn't have the foot speed to stay with the Celtics, who did. He comes out and he scores the first points of the game at the free throw line. But him scoring points was never really the problem. A quick 12-2 start for the Celtics as they created some real good looks off of dribble penetration and isolating players in the post. And their stars, whether it was Jaylen Brown, Tatum, it didn't matter. They're just shooting over the smaller players, as where their success was this entire series, similar to Game 3. We know the value of playing with the lead in this series and what it results in. What does it result in? The luxury of buying rest minutes for your stars. Now, this would arguably come back to backfire on Boston, who jumped out way in front. And I'll get to that in just a second. But the Warriors have weathered the early storm. We go 12-2, timeout. We go to commercial. The place is about to fall apart. But Draymond Green's starting to put in work. And he's putting his work on the defensive end on Jaylen Brown. We counted 5 isolation shutdowns in Game 5 in the notes, in which it was Jaylen versus Draymond, and may the best man win. And Draymond was able to win that matchup, including closing out the possession himself 5 times in Game 5. And he has 2 already in this first quarter. Kevon Looney had 2 quick early fouls yet again. We saw that in Game 5. Thought that, and it was a super cheap foul on a Robert Williams alley-oop attempt that he just did not need to do. 2 quick fouls, didn't need to do that. I thought that may come into play, especially with Robert Williams looking extra bouncy tonight. 4 turnovers now for the Celtics here in the first quarter, and you do the math on what they're on pace for. And what that means. That would be 16. 4 times 4 is 16. When the Celtics commit 16 turnovers, they were 1-7 this postseason. Self-inflicted wounds. Of course, the Warriors' defense is to blame for a majority of those, but taking care of the ball was ultimately the death of the Boston Celtics, who at the time led 22-18. Draymond drills a punish 3 from the corner, and that's his first 3 make of the series. Now 1 of 13. Remember how he said, "I'll make the one that counts"? That one sure as felt like the one that counted. Because they were down early. The Celtics could have gone up 20, but Draymond single-handedly keeps the Warriors attached when the dam is about to break. And of course, what happens if the Warriors see Draymond Green make a 3? The bench starts going nuts, the defensive energy goes through the roof, and the Warriors' energy becomes contagious. Right back at the other end, next possession, Steph hits the first of just an impossible 3. 24-22, Warriors all of a sudden lead. There is an early first quarter blizzard brewing as the Warriors have completed a 17-point turnaround. And at the end of at the end of the first quarter, they remarkably lead by 5 points after yet another hilarious Jordan Poole, Jekyll and Hyde banking 3. These Jordan Poole minutes, man. He is first team all J.R. Smith, because Jordan Poole delivered plus 14 in his first stint of this game. It wouldn't go so well in the second half. He never has 2 straight halves. But Jekyll and Hyde, Jordan Poole, there he is, bank 3, step back, staying attached really was the theme in that first quarter there, because that could have gotten ugly quick. May I ask a question? You know how I just mentioned getting out to an early lead buys you the luxury of resting your stars? We got Peyton Pritchard halfway through the first quarter. And in theory, you can't blame Udoka for trying to steal some minutes there by putting Pritchard on the floor, who has been a liability most of the time in this series. But he goes out there. He just played 5 minutes in the first quarter. And in those 5 minutes, you might as well, it would have been a better idea to play 4-on-5. At least he doesn't take up space. My question is, what exactly was the goal there? And it was because you were up by double digits, that you were hoping that you can keep your stars on the bench there and save them for when you need them the most. But does that philosophy really apply against the Warriors with the Celtics being this physical, this young, this durable? The guys that their stars and their young guys can usually go 42 minutes if you ask them to. Those Peyton Pritchard attempting to steal minutes in the first quarter allowed the Warriors to not only get back into the game, but take a 5-point lead. So that one time, or one of the very few times recently, in which the Celtics have been able to triumph the Warriors starters. You gave them all back by trying to steal minutes. And that would be hypocritical of me to call out, because I have always claimed / stood on my soapbox and said buying minutes in the first quarter is a luxury which you get with the lead there. But is it the same when you're down 3-2 with your backs against the wall? That feels more of a strategy that you would apply in the first couple games of this series, not when rotations are going to shorten and minutes for the starters are going to balloon. That you tried to steal those minutes, and boy, did that backfire immediately. There wasn't any delayed backfire. It was immediate. It was a 30-8 run, and Peyton Pritchard was still on the floor with Derek White. And to give you, and how badly those two got massacred, that Derek White was minus 20 during the run, the 30-8 run. Do the math on that. If you add 20 points to the Celtics, that would be 30-28. Derek White was out there for the entire 30-8 run with Peyton Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard came out, I believe, 3 minutes after Derek White. But we can't sit here and say, why did you play Derek White if he sucked? He had been great all series. He had been the reason why they won 2 games. But they just, like Tatum, they just did not show up at the wrong time. We have an avalanche. The Warriors are now up 15 as they have scored 21 points in a row. 7 points off of 5 turnovers during the 21-point stretch. Every single Celtics miss is turning into fast break opportunities. And if the Warriors miss, they are getting second and third chances. That's when Otto Porter hit his 3. It was off a third chance. And at this point now, you can feel the soul leaving the body. Demoralizing 3-pointers going in left and right. And it wasn't because they were tough. It was because they came off of offensive rebounds and turnovers. You can live with Steph Curry pulling up from 40 in front of 2 Celtics face. But you can't live with those. The Warriors are now winning the Steph bench minutes by double digits. We're in the second quarter. Steph's on the bench and they're plus 10 minimum. Jaylen Brown hits a desperation 3 to put an end to the flood, and boy, did they need that in the moment. The deficit was cut to 12, and the Celtics looked like that they were finally ready to play basketball again. The deer in headlights lasted 5 to 6 minutes there. And Udoka does not have enough timeouts to keep calling them and get his team straight. A huge blocking call. This was a first major, I have this one bolded. The blocking call on Draymond Green, when I believe he took a charge on Marcus Smart, and it was a 50-50 call that could have gone either way. It retains possession for the Celtics, and it leads to a Jaylen Brown 2 to get the lead back down to 10. And if they would have challenged it, they still probably would have lost, but that went from potentially 15-point lead back down to 10. Gary Payton has now missed 2 easy putbacks at the rim. And this feels like a moment in which the Warriors could absolutely have extended the lead to 20, but the lead was still 10 and hanging around. So despite what had just occurred there, 10 points is one run away. And just like that, 7-0 run for the Celtics after one hell of a chase down block by Robert Williams III, which leads to a Tatum fast break layup at the other end. But as will be the theme for the remainder of these important plays throughout tonight's Game 6, you will always find a note that something the Celtics did great, followed by a tough bucket by someone on the Warriors. And in this case, it's Klay, who hits a ridiculously difficult fadeaway for his third field goal of the game. And this was one where Klay, it was a fadeaway, but he was falling to the side. They were going from left to right on your television screen. In the fadeaway, he was at full speed going to his weak hand, and the ball just floats and goes in right as the crowd is starting to get on its feet once again. First time that the bucket went in when they needed one to keep them at arm's length. The difficulty of the shots that him and Steph Curry can make together are one of a kind, because the pair together, you would have figured KD and Kyrie could hit shots of this difficulty, but in the finals, oh God, every time the Celtics get close, Klay would have hit, or Steph, or Wiggins, someone would have hit a shot that looked like that. Draymond with a highlight reel steal. This one was awesome, in which he baited Jayson Tatum into riding the baseline. What do they teach you, if anyone has played ball at any level, is that the baseline, you can use him as, or not him, you can use it as a defender. He rides Jayson Tatum on the baseline, but as soon as Tatum goes by him, he steps back knowing that Tatum isn't going to try and up and under, and he anticipates the drop-off pass to Robert Williams. He not only steals it, but he's running and he times it, that he had the wherewithal and the foresight to know that he was going to do that shit, that he almost paused, exploded, caught it in stride, straight down the court for a bucket. Not him, but someone else that resulted in points. I don't know how a steal could be a highlight reel, but this one was worthy. That Draymond was one step ahead of a player that offensively gifted and talented in that moment there. First, he let him go down the baseline. Then he trapped him under the backboard where he had no chance of doing a reverse dunk. And then with Robert Williams standing down there by himself, walked right in front of him. 4 straight possessions with turnovers for the Celtics in this part of the second quarter. They're now up to 10 on the game. They have no one to blame but themselves. And Draymond Green is destroying. I have this in caps with periods between each letter and bolded. He is destroying the glass. I don't know how to explain it other than just heart, experience, because he is not the biggest guy on the floor. He's not the heaviest guy on the floor. He's not the tallest guy on the floor. And he certainly can't jump the highest on the floor. But these rebounds that he was getting with one hand up there against the likes of Grant Williams, Al Horford, and Robert Williams, who have single-handedly, between the three of them at different points in each game, have killed Eastern Conference teams with their rebounding and second chance opportunities. That Draymond was able to go in there by himself and grab those fucking things like he was Inspector Gadget. He had suction cups on his hands. He was palming big boy rebounds with guys that can jump up higher than him. The box out plus the rebound. What a priority we put on closing out possessions. And Draymond Green there at the end of that second quarter had multiple instances in which the Celtics sent 3 guys to the glass, didn't have a fucking chance in hell of getting an offensive rebound. And since you sent 3 to the glass, Draymond knows there are a lot of Celtics down here. I'm going to get out and go, which leads to fast break opportunities. And at the very least, putting pressure on the Celtics to have to sprint back, tiring them out. I felt like this was already his best game of the series, Draymond Green, and we would eventually get to one of his best games of all time. Draymond now with an amazing backdoor bait pass. This is the one I tweeted about. He demands the ball standing at half court. He's pointing and goes, go set the screen for Steph Curry, and he's directing it at Klay. But because this Warriors team has played basketball for so long together, and they have a chemistry which nobody can compete with. You may be more talented, you may be bigger, faster, and stronger, but you will never have the chemistry of this team. Only the San Antonio Spurs dynasty looked like that they could play basketball telepathy with each other, and that I can tell you something and say, come set the screen for Steph. And all three of them knew that was going to end up in a Klay Thompson backdoor pass, which was thrown not at Klay's ankles, not at Klay's shoelaces, between Klay's fucking eyes. It hit him in the fingertips, in stride. The court is 92 feet long. Draymond Green standing at the logo. He throws a 40-foot rope to Klay on the money, who is being guarded brilliantly, honestly, by Grant Williams, who had to switch on that. Draymond hits him there. A reverse finish for Klay Thompson. A Draymond Green masterpiece. Masterpiece. It's going to piss a lot of people off that Draymond's getting this type of credit. You got to give credit where credit is due in this case. This man was everywhere. But why does Klay have the ability to go backdoor from 40 feet away? While Draymond and Klay are responsible for the box score statistics of that moment, the only reason why it's even doable and why they've done it so many times together is because you got two dudes trying to switch screens 40 feet away from the rim to make sure Steph Curry can't get the ball and shoot a three. That's the magnitude of Steph Curry's game. That's the impact he has on the NBA, that he doesn't even need the ball in his hands to make his teammates that much better. Just his mere presence will have a defense stretched. My next note says, the Celtics look so damn tired, man. We knew the championship rounds would favor the speed, but they're not even crashing the glass anymore. It's now 9-2. 9-2 on the offensive glass in favor of the Warriors. And we're up to 13 points off of 12 Celtics turnovers. 9-2 on the glass against a team that has Al Horford and Robert Williams out there for a majority of it. And here come the boos. We had this conversation after game 5 in here. We're going back to Boston, okay? These are great sports fans. But they have booed their guys in the past, and we've seen how their players have reacted, and they've spoken about it during the regular season. We wondered if the Celtics somehow went down in the first half. Would the crowd boo? And if they did, how would the players react? Would it be a repeat of what we saw in that infamous Game 7 at Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia between the 76ers and the Hawks in the conference semifinals, in which it's just a burden on these players' shoulders? Well, you know what? We're about to find out. 54-39 at the half, and the Celtics are honestly lucky to be within 15. It feels like as they go on a 6-0 mini spurt before halftime with Steph on the bench, who was so exhausted he had to call out of the game. You want to know how fast the Warriors were playing? That their own guys had to come out of it, and they were the ones initiating the speed. There was no saving Steph's foul trouble. He went. You go like this, it means I need a breather. Steph Curry, they zoomed in on him. If you go back and watch the telecast right before halftime, Steph is on the bench, dripping sweat, sucking wind. Tell me the Warriors did not push that gas pedal as far to the floor as it possibly goes. Teams leading by 15 plus points at the half are 53-1 in the NBA Finals. We come out of halftime. And I'm a broken record. It's not a wobbism, but I'm a broken record at this point, telling you if you are a fan of a team that is playing the Golden State Warriors on your own home floor, that every single person needs to be in those seats, ready for the inbounds, because the Warriors are going to bring the final second Game 7 energy the moment that ball is inbounded. And by the time you sit back down there, it's a 10-0 run. That's why third quarter Warriors are the fucking Death Star. And what happens as soon as we inbound the ball? Draymond Green hits a punish three straight out of halftime. And there's half the crowd is still coming back from the bathroom in the concession stands. Then we have Andrew Wiggins with a gargantuan offensive rebound up 57-44, which leads to a Steph Curry step in wide open three. Monster moment there as people don't even know what the hell just happened. We have a 60-44 lead just like that. Another massive turnaround moment as it's starting to feel like now it might be getting away from the Celtics. It's still relatively early, but you're down 16 and the Warriors defense is running around so fast that they force a shot clock violation and Al Horford's three goes in, but it's wiped off the board. And now Steph Curry is getting double teamed as he crosses half court without the ball in his hands. I mean, truly an unprecedented offensive player. Steph is now unloading threes as the Celtics just can't stay with him through all of the screens. If you're going to go back and watch all these things that I'm telling you about in this third quarter, when Steph Curry didn't have the ball in his hands, you don't even need to watch where the ball is. Just watch Steph Curry run around. No one on earth, even his own shadow, can't stay with him. He just keeps running and going through elevator screens, and eventually he gets open, and now he's unloading. But Al Horford isn't missing either, and he's keeping the Celtics attached. The score is still 66-50 as Al Horford hits 2 threes of his own. But now Steph Curry again, and we have an absolute DEFCON 1 avalanche. There were 2 Celtics with hands in his face. This is when Marcus Smart and Robert Williams III were just standing there waiting for Steph Curry to dribble past half court, and he just pulls it 33.5 feet, and it goes in. This is a special level of basketball divinity in which we are watching right here. 22-point lead for the Warriors. But we're not done yet. And this is where it kind of started. And I was starting to get a little nervous as someone holding a Warriors futures ticket. And by the way, my rebounding ticket, holy shit, that was close. I was sweating my ass off. Andrew Wiggins won by 2. A couple of Otanis. We'll get to that later. But Kevon Looney misses a wide open, nobody is around him, no one is within 10 feet of him, layup. And doesn't get the offensive rebound. And I said, let's see if this matters. Because with that 20-point lead, that would have gotten it back to 22. But no, the lead is now down to 17 after that missed layup, and Marcus Smart hits a 3 at the other end. Looney could have made that 22 instantly 17. Every point matters like life or death right now. And for them to give away those easy points, I thought this was going to be one. This felt like Matt Ryan throwing on third down. It wasn't the end of the game in the moment, but it's what I remember from when it happened that started everything. 7-0 Celtics run, 72-57. But have no fear. There's Wiggins on the offensive glass yet again to save the day with a tip in over Robert Williams. That was one hell of an athletic play because he jumped over Robert Williams without going over the back, which requires you to go vertical without jumping into him and going over Robert Williams, who already has a significant athletic advantage over you. Jaylen Brown will not go down without a fight. He is going beast mode to get the lead down to 12 with 5 quick points, all of which were created by himself. There was no Tatum. There was no swinging. There was no somebody got him open. This was Tatum saying, give me the damn ball. Our life is on the line. I'm going to go score for us. And he did it. He was the one Celtic named Al Horford who did not look like a deer in headlights. I thought that was impressive desperation basketball from Jaylen Brown and what we probably expected from the other star on this team. Draymond re-enters the game right now, and this is when, you remember when LeBron made that look when Kawhi came in? The way Draymond was locked in tonight, if I was a Celtics fan, I'd be thinking the same thing. Because as soon as he comes back in, he gets 2 straight steals with Boston in the middle of a comeback. You got everyone standing up here. You see the camera start shaking. God damn, this dude is unreal. 2 straight strip steals, one of which resulted in off the leg, another of which resulted in Draymond just catching it clean and getting it to Steph Curry. And this was when they could have gotten it to single digits there in the third quarter. Every second felt like an eternity in this third. Very similar vibes to the final 2:39 of Game 7 in 2016. Now, these Jordan Poole minutes are not going well, or certainly as well as the first set were. He's now getting targeted by Jayson Tatum. It's getting him back into the game. And Al Horford is finding mismatches on him. We have an and one, 74-65. Now the roof has been blown off, and Jordan Poole tries to get it back at the other end and gets stuffed by Al Horford, who sent that shit past the Vivek seats. But it's a 9-point game. There's still a little bit of pad there. And with that block out of bounds, and the entire New England portion of this country feeling the same as they did in that Super Bowl when the Patriots were coming back, and you felt like that we can do this. It's Draymond Green with a Mike Breen bang. What an answer. Once again, he answers back. This is now the game of his life. We're headed to the fourth. It's 76-66, and you're holding on to your butts. Draymond now destroys Marcus Smart out of the timeout, blocking himself into the Vivek seats. Pantheon game for Draymond. Marcus Smart had him in isolation. Draymond was beat off the dribble, but he's able to get all ball from behind as if it was nothing. Steph is still on the bench to start the fourth, by the way. And this is when you're like, are we going to survive these 3 minutes without Steph? Can he not give us an extra 3 tonight? The same philosophy of playing Peyton Pritchard. You're rolling the Jordan Poole dice there and hoping it doesn't come up craps. It was risky, but for the third time this series, Steve Kerr plays the right card with his rotations. He escapes every single time that Steph Curry was on the bench in those fourth. I never once thought it was a liability that he wasn't out there, and he ended up playing the right card. We would have certainly blamed him, saying Steph Curry needs to be, he can give you 3 extra minutes. It's a closeout game of the NBA Finals, but Kerr needs his credit with these rotations, because I know Warriors fans were probably coming for him at some point. And I have in all capital letters, where the hell is Jayson Tatum? 0 points in the second half. A horrible turnover for the Celtics allows an easy leak out to get the lead back to 12. And now Jordan Poole is all of a sudden Steph Curry. They kept Jordan Poole in with Steph Curry when he came in. 2 tough drives to the rim, resulting in 4 points against and over Robert Williams. It was only 4 points, and in retrospect, that's 4 points of 100. It doesn't mean a whole lot. It meant a lot in this moment because they needed offense in the half court, okay? Steph Curry can certainly bury you at any time, but he thrives in chaos. He thrives off of turnovers, transitions, and second chance opportunities. When the ball is kind of just floating around and the Warriors can't get any of that special offense going there, it was Jordan Poole who scored 4 points to keep the double-digit lead, and boy, was that crucial. I just have, how did this dude just score 4 points over Robert Williams? But RW the third is single-handedly keeping the Celtics in the game with Jayson Tatum AWOL with those finishes at the rim and making his free throws. Tatum then misses a bunny at the rim. Robert Williams has a missed tip slam after it, and that would have gotten the lead back to single digits. There were a couple of times in this fourth that if the ball would have just found its way in, the Celtics 2 points would have been just enough momentum to maybe get back into this thing, but they were always 1 bucket away. And that 1 bucket away with a 10-point lead, Draymond Green, another strip steal, this time on Al Horford. Turnover Celtics. It's 84-72. Draymond turns the ball over coming out of the timeout, and it leads to a Grant Williams and 1 at the other end. There's another huge turnaround moment there. Gets the lead down back to 9. Wiggins just had his 3rd block of the game, and they are all while defending who else? Jayson Tatum. He had that man, National Geographic, locked up abroad. Go watch that show. Jayson Tatum deserves his own edition after what Andrew Wiggins put him through in that fourth quarter tonight. Jaylen Brown hits a tough 3 from the corner right after he sprains his ankle, and what a damn half from him. Really heroic stuff, despite ultimately falling up short. But Jaylen Brown hits that 3 from the corner from behind the backboard. Wiggins claps right back with his own. We have lost track at this point of how many punished 3s in massive sequels that lived up to as good as the original. moments from the Warriors, whether it was Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, Draymond Green. How many of those moments have we gone through in these notes? There had to be 5 in the second half alone that they desperately needed points to keep the Celtics from coming back, and they delivered at an 100% batting average. Another Celtics turnover leads to a Draymond Green leak out layup at the rim, and the lead is back to 13. Bang. All because Wiggins quieted the arena. Draymond Green gets the ball. He runs out in transition as that point forward that he's always done. Bucket. 21 turnovers for the Celtics is a series high in Game 6. 21 at this point. Steph Curry takes Al Horford in isolation. Finally, I'm vindicated for a very brief moment here as Al Horford is stuck on an island against Steph Curry with the entire left side of the floor open. And you heard Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy say multiple times, you cannot let Steph Curry get to that left hand. The same way Ja Morant loves to go to that left hand. Some of these guys that are right-handed are better with their left off the dribble. Al Horford is out there on an island by himself, and he has to be up on Steph because he's not just going to let him step into a three. Steph is able to beat him off the dribble. Al Horford can't chase him down because Steph Curry knows how to finish using his body. Oh, my Lord in heaven. This dude, in that moment, that was the 6th major clapback moment there. And this time it was Steph just saying, fuck it, I'm going to throw this team on my back. Wiggins now forces yet another Tatum turnover. And I don't want to say he's shook and insult the people in the past who have been classified as shook. He was simply unrecognizable, is what Jayson Tatum was tonight. He wasn't shook. He was unrecognizable. Steph Curry just hit another 3 and did the sleep celebration. It is 96-81 with 3 minutes left. We got the ring celly and the sleep celly in the same game from Steph Curry. And that's it. Jayson Tatum ends this game as the first player in NBA history with 100 turnovers in a single postseason. You want to talk about how role players influence these playoffs? Let's do Kevon Looney and Gary Payton versus Derek White and Grant Williams. Shout out to J-Fan for this stat. Kevon Looney plus 48. Gary Payton II plus 35. We know what Derek White and Grant Williams have done since the Brooklyn series. Minus 62, minus 55. It was the Warriors bench that was the difference in this series because it allowed Steph Curry, whether he was behind or if they had the lead, to do his thing with comfort, knowing that if he went to the bench, those guys would be able to stand in there. And those were the minutes that the Celtics, I think we could all agree, it was an assumption that they had to win when Steph wasn't on the floor. They not only didn't win, they got destroyed. Ladies and gentlemen, those are my final play-by-play notes of the season. Hell of a game, hell of a series, hell of a game, hell of a team, hell of a player, hell of a fucking dynasty. We are living in the dynastic times. Hey, thank you all. I see I black out during those notes. We got the stream up to 524 likes. Thank you guys very much. We will be doing an after party. Maybe, do I show you? You know what I have ready for tomorrow. I've been working all year on it, and I got 2 more videos to add. I don't know if I can show it during the live stream, but we'll talk about that during the after party. Locusts here in the chat know what I'm talking about. It's ready, and it's going out tomorrow. I saw people in my mentions asking for it. It's not going out till tomorrow. But it is that portion of the show. We've released it during this show in the past, but YouTube is going to DMCA us for the highlights. Twitch never did DMCA for those highlights. Any comments here before I start taking some calls from you guys? What a game. Jish has got to be up at 7 early for work, and I can't hang. Stat of the night. Andrew Wiggins is the first former number one pick with his first All-Star selection and first title with a team he didn't debut with. Early stat of the night from Jish. Thanks for hanging out, Jish. Wob, the block charge on Draymond was from Horford. Okay, thank you. Did I say Marcus Smart? I mean, if you're a Celtics fan looking for some form of or if you're doing the 7 stages of grief right now, it's obviously the turnovers, taking care of the ball, how many times that they were caught complaining to the referees and didn't get back. Marcus Smart abusing his reputation as someone that falls over a lot is not going to get those calls. I'm starting to put him into the same category as James Harden, that he's always like, where's the foul? You were giving that to me all year. Dude, you're just not going to get those calls in the finals. You're not going to get those calls for the most part in the playoffs, but especially the finals. He fell over for like 5 straight minutes, and most of those, honestly, probably should have been fouls. The referees are just sick of it. They're just not going to reward it. Where do I stand on their need for a point guard? I'm not changing anything about this team other than some of the bench depth. I'm going to trust now that Jayson Tatum has seen what it's like to perform at this level the way that he did, that he's going to come back and deliver next time that he's there. All Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum have done is get better. And this was still a successful season for them. They lost to the Dynasty Warriors. There's nothing to be ashamed of about that. But I'm certainly keeping this game together. I'm paying Robert Williams and knowing that he's coming back healthy. If they had a healthy Robert Williams that could run 40 minutes, this series certainly may have gone a different way. They do not need John Wall. No, stop. No shilling. Thoughts on Steph's defense on Tatum in the third and the fourth in isolation? I know the plays that you're referring to when he stripped him clean, right? When he was down there, you figure it would have been a layup, but there were 2 times that Steph was able to get the ball out of his hands. I don't know if it resulted in a Golden State possession, but he did prevent Tatum from scoring a couple of times. Steph was also in every single moment of this series except for game 5, and it doesn't even matter because they won that game. I don't know what else to say about the guy. He's in the top 10 of all time conversation probably right now. There's going to be a lot of trade machine tonight. 2022, Neil with a great stat here. 2022 Golden State drafted 50% of their finals roster. That's crazy. I'm sure there's plenty of reasons why people don't like the Warriors, whether you're not a Steph Curry fan or you're still mad at them for the KD days, but they have built the cornerstone of this franchise through the draft and the right way, as the Celtics have as well. So you can't be mad how they won the title this year, especially coming off all the injuries, coming off of those 2 years that they were the worst team in the league. They made a trade for the ages, getting Andrew Wiggins there and a draft pick. They didn't even have James Wiseman for this series. And they still won the damn title. They got a draft pick, which I think was ultimately either Kuminga or Moody. They got Wiggins. They got rid of D'Lo. They paid God knows how much money in luxury tax because of that Kelly Oubre decision. What about this team can you not like from an objective point of view? Again, this is if you have a reason to hate the Warriors from a personal standpoint, all power to you. I'm talking to the petty king over here. But just from the outside looking in, it sure feels like it was earned in every facet of the business that is the NBA. Bob Myers, too. Bob Myers has been there since the beginning. Ben says, I hated them during the KD years, loved them in 2015 and now. Well, I'll keep, I'll do some balance here tonight, comment section here on YouTube. Thank you guys as always. And if you're here now, just hanging out, we got the stream to 500 likes. We will do an after party, but this is the last show of the season. This is the last of the 2022 season. There will be shows that we will do after the draft. We'll do one when there's some big free agency news, and then we'll do another. The final of the total calendar will be after Summer League. But as for the 2021-2022 season, this is the season finale. Now, do you guys, I pride myself on letting people in at random, but should I make an exception for tonight? And I don't think I even need to say it is who I'm talking about. But if the chat says do it or yes, I will go against my own philosophy. Should there be an exception? Because I am anticipating it should be the caller of the night. It should be someone that can represent Warriors Nation better than arguably anyone. Someone who has been in this chat on Radio Roulette calls since we started doing them. So it is a veteran of the show. It is a friend. It is someone that is the epitome of what we are Locust and Antarctica Nation is all about. The people have spoken, and I am allowed to make an exception tonight. And I am proud to welcome in from the Bay our friend, Marcelo. The floor is yours, my friend. Are you there? Is this part of the bit?
Wob.
Okay.
Wob, we fucking did it, Wob! We are the 2022 NBA champions! I can't even put into words the excitement that is surging through my veins right now. I feel so emotional to a point that I might go streaking. This is the most important championship that we have won. And I just can't, man. First of all, give it up to you. Give it up to you, because you just cashed out, my man. You just cashed out on an A1 Warriors bet.
Thank you.
Everybody give it up for my boy Wob for putting his money where his mouth is and actually betting on the Warriors. Not a month ago, not when the finals started, not when the Warriors were looking nice, but in November when nobody had a damn chance. No one gave us a chance. But Wob saw the future. Wob understood the calling that was the Warriors dynasty. Oh my God, I'm going off the rails right now. I don't even know where to start. Where do I begin? Do I give it up for me, or do I give it up for the Warriors? do I give it up to all the haters? You know what? I'm going to start with the haters. Woo! Let me get my maniacal laugh on. Because, oh my God, all those haters. It was quiet as hell in the community today. It was so quiet. So quiet. This guy Kev amped, or like Kev ain't, because he ain't shit. That guy was talking out of his ass. Oh my God. And the fact that he has to eat all those poop sandwiches that came out of his, oh my God. Kev ain't, MKE poops. I haven't heard from that guy in months. I haven't seen that guy tweet in, oh my God, that man is, I don't think he's alive anymore. I don't think he's going to be tweeting ever again. Because how do you come back from that? How do you come back from hating on a championship team like the Warriors? How do you come back from hating on one of the greatest players in the NBA, the bona fide greatest shooter in the NBA, everyone was saying, oh, he doesn't have a Finals MVP. He doesn't have a Finals MVP. Fuck that, man. What are they gonna say now? What are they gonna say now, Wob? Tell me.
There's not much left, Marcelo.
You don't have to tell me. You don't got to tell me a goddamn thing. This is Warriors basketball. Oh my God. At least Rashad has the decency to put his face and his name out there so that when he puts out the hate, people know it's genuine hate. At least he has the balls to do that. All these other fake accounts, these troll accounts, Johnny Football, you're not even Johnny Football. There's no H in your name. You're Joni Football, buddy. Okay? You're nobody over here talking. I'm reading the chant. They won an asterisk title. Your team is a 64-team front-running team, and they couldn't do shit. Second round exit. Okay? I used to be humble, I swear to you, I used to be humble. I used to be cool, calm, and collected. You know, I used to say, well, just keep pushing. You know, we're gonna do we got to see till the end. We got to see to the end, but we're here now. And what did I say, Wob? I don't even know when I said it, but I told you that there's going to be another parade in the month of June in the city of San Francisco. And you bet your ass I'm going to be there, Wob. You bet your ass. You bet your plus 1,800 ass I'm going to be there, son. Oh, my God. I can't wait for that day. I can't wait to be walking the streets. I can't wait to be seeing the true greatness in front of me. All these, oh my God. What does it feel like to be part of a poor, poverty, piss poor team nation? I have no idea, Wob. I mean, I have a little bit of, I'm also an A's fan, but you know what? As a basketball fan, I've been to 3 different NBA championships parades. 3 different parades. Now I'm going to go to my 4th. Give it up for me. For me, Wob. Give it up for me. Let's do it. Let's go. Who's that guy? I am. I can't, man. We're going crazy out here, man. We're going absolutely crazy. There's a couple block parties going out in the town, a couple block parties going out in San Francisco. I don't know which one to go to, man. I don't know which one to go to, but you best believe I'm gonna be out there. Oh my God.
Before you go, Marcelo, hit us with it. Oh,
bro, you don't even want me to. Because I swear, this is gonna be the. Let me Super Saiyan charge up for this one. Warriors! Come on to blast!
He's peaking.
4 championships and 6 finals appearances. We're a dynasty. We're a capital.
He just broke the AMP app, by the way.
Teams, fuck them. We're Warriors Nation, baby. And you know what? This isn't even a hot take. We're gonna go back to back. We're gonna go back to back. There's no question about it. We're going back to back. You're talking about a Kuminga team, Moses Moody, John, what is his name? I don't even fucking Wiseman, who hasn't even seen real NBA minutes. Come on, Wob. We're going back to back. You could lock in that money right now. I don't know what the odds are, but I bet you they're good. Just lock it in. Lock it the fuck in. I am so amped. Thank you for having me on the #1 show on Amped. That is me, Wob. Oh my God, I am so amped. I'm a little angry. I don't know why, but I feel anger. I feel genuine anger right now. And I just want to unleash it, Wob. I just want to unleash it. Oh my God. I feel like I won the NBA championship. I feel like I did all that work. Oh my God. You know what? I can't wait till next week. I don't know when that parade is going to be taken off. I don't know when that parade is happening. I think it might be next week. But you bet your ass I'm going to be there tweeting into the community what it's like for all these piss poor poverty nations that don't understand what it's like to be in a parade. I'm going to show them what a true parade looks like, what a true championship team looks like. And boy, oh boy, I'm going to have fun. And to anyone here that's in the Bay and you're looking for the guy, you're looking for me in the Warriors Parade, I'm going to be the guy swinging my dick around because I'm just that amped, okay? I'm amped, baby. Let's go. 2022 NBA champions. Who would have thought? Me and everybody else that believed in us. And also Wob, because he put in his money way early. Congrats to you, Wob. Congrats to you. Buy yourself a drink and a Warriors jersey and use some of that money to put in next year because we're going back to back. Let's fucking do it, man. Thanks for having me on the number one show. A little bittersweet because this is the last show. I remember when there was a time when I was just trying to get on and I would never get on. But, you know, I became, God, I don't want to, you know, toot my own horn, but I became the show, Wob. I became the show, and I'm so glad you gave me that opportunity. So thank you for coming on my show. I really appreciate it, Wob. We're lucky to have you. I hope you're here again next year. Love you, Wob. Absolutely love. Nothing but love.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Marcelo from the Bay. Give it up. It's his show now, apparently. Thanks for coming on my show. Give it up for me. You know what we have? It's the first caller of the night. You know what we have? Caller of the night.
It's too loud. It's nighttime. Can you shut up, please?
Caller of the night. Official. Oh, that was good. Give it up for me. Dry wipe is a bad wipe. He peaked so hard during the Warriors come out to play. He fried his microphone into amp. I've never seen that color because I can see the connection of people that are in the lobby, and I've never seen that shade of red before. When he fried. He just fried the amp input of audio. Olga would not be happy with our friend Marcelo. I hope he goes out and celebrates safely tonight, because he sure as hell has earned it. And that is also what he said at the end there. That's what this show is meant to provide. It's certainly a platform for fans of all teams, no matter what part of the world you're in. That it's as much your show as it is mine. This is a democracy. There is no show without the engaging of the community. And to find someone like Marcelo that so many people have enjoyed, whether you've been talking shit to him or not, you know what you signed up for. This is his night. You got to tip your hat the same way you would tip your hat to Steph, because he sure as hell has earned it with performances like that. Caller of the night. Thank you, Alex, for that visual once again. All right, should we follow that up? How do we follow that up? We're going to ask Howie Edelstein how to follow that up once he connects. Give it up for me. Thank you guys once again for hitting that like button if you haven't subscribed already. Are the rules still in effect if we get this to 10,000 subs? I don't know if that applies for next season, but if it sure is getting close. Howie, are you there? He's invited. Nope, he dropped. Next up is going to be No Way Jose, 24. No hot tub stream. Broccoli. We'll have to discuss this, but you guys didn't. Maybe if you hit the subscribe button, we might get there. No Way Jose, welcome in. Just unmute yourself whenever you're ready to go. Now I can hear you.
Oh, perfect.
Just if you wouldn't mind, it's super quiet on the app. If you wouldn't mind just speaking up a little bit and or moving the phone close to your face, I'll do my part in trying to turn you up, but any of that would be appreciated.
Gotcha. Can you hear me better now?
I think as good as we're going to be able to hear you. There's unfortunately, AMP has been really turning people down for some reason, but I've got you all the way up, so go ahead.
All right. So my thing is that I've been watching Stephen A. Smith talking about Steph Curry, and he's simply reducing Steph Curry as like the greatest shooter ever. And I think that's really, he is the greatest shooter ever, but it's still diminishing what he does on the basketball court. I feel like in the same way that LeBron James is a system, I think that Steph Curry is also a system, but he's a greater system than LeBron. He's not a. I don't want to say that he's a better player than LeBron, but I feel like that his value and his contribution to a team are even greater. And I think that the case is that it's extremely difficult for teams to defend Steph Curry, and we've seen in this series more than any other series where if you play the drop coverage, he's gonna kill you. If you double team him, he's gonna kick it to Draymond, and now you got the team playing a 4-on-3. If you don't switch, he causes confusions for the defense. So I just wanted to say, and I wanted you to get your thoughts on, is Steph Curry the greatest system out there that you've ever seen? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Jose, thank you for the call. Steph Curry has become, yeah, like you put it, his own system. He is the offense by himself simply because of what the other team has to do when he's simply on the floor. The respect that he deems as far away from the rim as he plays has never been done before. And of course, LeBron in his prime did plenty of things that were like breaking the system that you're talking about. I mean, LeBron was probably, Magic Johnson was the original point forward, but in terms of like just positionless basketball, it was probably LeBron up there that could play positions 1 through 5. Again, Magic did a lot of those things first, but of course at a different athletic level against different types of competition in a much faster game. Steph Curry is an offense by himself, regardless of who's on the floor. And then when you add in the fact, when you add in all of the chemistry and experience that these guys have played with to get him more open and the way that they can pass the ball without even looking because they know where each other is going to be, it's almost unbeatable. Steph Curry is the offense by himself. And that is not an insult to Wiggins, to Klay, to Draymond, but everything that they do is a result of teams overcommitting to defend Stephen Curry. Those backdoor passes to Klay that were in the notes. Klay getting open. What are these hairs in my mouth? Fucking hairball. I'm like a cat over here. Where these even come from? Anyways, yeah, to answer your question, Steph Curry is the offense. And they've built that entire franchise around him being such a liability on defenses. Next up, let's try Ryan Mayer. Just got this like one hair, man, that just won't leave. That was a funny comment. Ethan says the irony of amp audio being too quiet, right? I'm trying, man. I've got this shit turned up all the way. I'm putting the microphone next to the mic. It's like legit whispering, and it has nothing to do with you guys. It's been like this for a couple of days. Nothing I can do about it. Next up, Light Hero. You are up. Steph Curry as the profile picture. Did I get that? Oh, yeah. I need to clarify Marcelo. He said plus 1,800. It was plus 800 on the Warriors futures bet, not 1,800. But there was a lot of money on that one. And then the Wiggins bet paid out plus 3,500 on a $400 bet. And I squeaked it. Al Horford was within one. What's up, Light? I can hear you.
Hey, so first off, want to congratulate you as well, just as Marcelo just did. Putting your money where your mouth is takes a lot of guts. So you deserve your victory lap. I don't know if you've taken it yet, but you definitely deserve it. So first off, shout outs to you. Second off, I want to give a shout out to Draymond Green's threes in Boston. Wow, yeah, plural. He hit multiple. That was hilarious. Every time it went in, I could feel the Boston fans. It was pretty funny. Another shout out for Klay's recovery. So happy to see him. He didn't want to leave that podium. He was just soaking in that joy. It was just amazing. And then to follow Marcelo's footsteps, shout out to the haters out there. I know there was a lot of whoop that trick talk. Klay from the podium shouted out. I think it was Triple J for using the Warriors' strength in numbers and kind of trolling. Took out that team. Wow, I am just super impressed with this team. I mean, you saw it happening. I don't think many others saw this ending happening early on in the season, regardless of that start that they had. I'm just floored. So Steph is amazing to watch. Really felt for Tatum tonight. It seems like such a likable dude. I loved what he did for Team USA in the Olympics. So it was kind of sad to see him kind of go down with such a bad game. But I wish nothing but the best for him as he moves forward. More than anything, Wob, just want to thank you for such a great 2021-22 season. This is my first time following along, and I really enjoyed your commentary. And yeah, I don't really have a question tonight. I'm just really happy for the season and wanted to thank you for all that you've done to provide that lane for us.
Light, thank you for taking the time to, and this goes out to all of you. Thank you guys for taking the time to stay up late at night. I know it's currently 10:47 Pacific time, which means if you're over there on the East Coast, it's 1:47. If you're over there in Europe, Africa, Asia, it can be really early when these games are on, yet you still come in here and take the time to do it anyway. Hashtag We Are Locust exists for a reason. And it makes it almost sweeter, especially if your team wins, it's going to be sweet regardless. But when you have put in the time and you've built, you were here for the shows on a random Tuesday in February. You know, some of us were in here trying to find angles as to how what we are witnessing may influence when we get to this point tonight. It takes a lot of work as a listener too. I'm the one, hosting the show and creating the videos and all that. But you got to put in the time to listen to all this bullshit. Most of the time, I'm usually right, which is good. But having conversations about it takes effort, let alone listening to it. So this show does not exist without its listeners, viewers, commenters, all the above. It is more a community than it is anything else. It is ultimately a piece of content, but I do not enjoy anymore creating content around the NBA that is not involving brainstorming sessions with the most trusted people that get the show, right? Because if you ever open up one of my tweets, you're just wasting your time. You're going to go down a sewer of just some of the most irrational people. Why would you ever want to take your free time to engage with them, right? And here, it's not necessarily a safe space, more so than an agreement that we can have civilized discourse, I think, about what we've witnessed. So that's a testament to you guys continuing, because I'm beyond burned out when it comes to watching NBA games, right? The only reason why I keep doing this is because I enjoy the platform that we have created. Hashtag we are Locust. All right, more calls. Next up is going to be Terrell. One of Terrell. It's a long season, man. I'm feeling a sense of freedom for the first time in a long time. It's really not over yet either. We got free agency, we got draft, we got trades, we got summer league. It's still at least a month away from being done, but watching games every single night, I am finally free. That is a weight off my shoulders, which I most certainly am not going to take for granted. It's been a minute. It's been since 2019 since we've had a real summer off. God bless. All right, Terrell dropped. So we will go to Just Jimmy is next up. Once again, guys, if you do end up on the show, if you do end up getting through, please just use your outdoor voice, because AMP is not very audible. It's not amplifying your voice very much. I'm doing my best to get you guys on, and it would certainly be appreciated. Put the phone as close to your mouth as you can. Jimmy, what's on your mind?
First off, can you hear me? All right, I can speak.
Yeah,
Speak loud enough.
Yeah, you sound better than anyone has yet.
How about it? So, it's, pretty happy mood here. I want to kind of slow things down a second, because I've prepared a eulogy for a couple of the Warriors we've lost along the way.
Okay.
Because it's been a tough few years. I'll keep it as quick as possible, but got the rosters pulled up, and I just want to read out a few of the names that I see here. Is that cool?
Please, by all means.
Dragan Bender. Sky Bowman. Alec Burks. Willie Cauley-Stein. Marquise Chris. Jacob Evans. Michael Mulder. Eric Pascal. Glenn Robinson III. Alan Smolajic. Omari Spellman. How could we forget? Chop Wood, Kerry Water, Kent Bazemore.
Oh, no.
Jordan Bell. Nico Mannion. Tsunami Poppy himself, Kelly Oubre Jr. And last, but certainly not least, Brad Wanamaker. Moment of silence for a couple of the Warriors we lost along the way. In the name of winning buckets and pettiness, may the peace of the code be with you always.
And also with you, Jimmy.
Now.
Oh, you're still going? Okay, great.
No, sorry. Bit of a delay. You know how it is.
No, I was giving you your moment of silence there. I thought that was appropriate to go silent, but please, by all means.
I appreciate the also with you. And also with you. All right. Let's talk basketball. Let me paint a picture for you. Let me set the scene. Probably was around March, April 2019. Rob posted a funny meme. Probably got retweeted onto my timeline. Thought it was funny. Went through the profile. Hey, this guy's pretty funny. I'll follow him. A couple days later, he's on Periscope. I just so happened to see it. I'm like, why not? I'll jump in. It's the end of the season. We're in that little lull between season and playoffs. And, of course, he, like everyone else in basketball Twitter, he's got a bracket. He's got picks. And I just so happened to jump in when that's all laid out. And of all the of all the things I was expecting to see, I wasn't expecting to see the Toronto Raptors picked as what? My first thought, does this guy know basketball? What the fuck is he talking about? Fast forward, game 6, heart ripped out. I come by, willing to do my licks. I didn't see this. And the one thing that I'll remember the most from that night was the phrase Rob just kept repeating. They play the games for a reason. Titles aren't won on paper. It's that simple. And what I watched tonight, and truly what I watched all year, was a great team. And it was so much fun to watch them every night. And, as I sat there in 2019, just walloping in sorrow, I had a thought to myself that I never thought of along this Warrior run. And I'm very lucky. I got here at the right time, 07, and got to see that We Believe team. And I got to watch how really the Bay came around that team and rallied behind them, and how awesome it was, really. And I've been lucky to watch this all and to be in the building for some of the bigger moments. I was there both games for that Denver series in 2013, last row of the stadium. Luckily, I've got parents that are basketball fans too, and they realized pretty quick after going to a few Warrior games, any seat in Oracle was worth the price of admission, even if it was the last one. And I can close my eyes right now, and I can still see it. I can see Steph just losing his mind in that third quarter, and Denver calling a timeout, and Jared Jack not touching him because he's too hot, and him running in my direction, and just hands in the air, screaming, because it wasn't about him. It was about the team. It was about the community. It was about us. And for the first time after that game 6 against Toronto, I thought to myself, what's it going to be like when I can't turn on a Warriors game and watch Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson? It's the first time I ever had that thought, really. And around that time, especially during 2018, LeBron was going wild, and everyone was like, "Hey, don't be complacent about the greatness, and respect it, and don't take it for granted." And so that's what I tried to do. And as awful as it was to go through 2019, 2020, I went through it because I watched those games because I knew that the guys that we'd have on those teams, whether they be the Damian Lees or the Brad Wanamakers, they would be needed. And I wanted to see, at least get an idea of who those guys could be. And then COVID happens the end of the season. Thank God. That team was really feeling it down the stretch. But, coming back that year, I got to come home. And so that meant that I had Warrior games on every night. And I got to watch that entire team. And throughout this year, especially this year, and from the start, where they went out of the blocks flying, I got to watch this team come together, and I got to watch it. I got to watch the highs, the lows. One of my favorite moments from this year was the Florida swing, where they played Orlando and just had this awful fucking game, probably the worst game we had all year, and then we go up to Miami and just whoop them. Whoop that trick. Oh, they were fighting, throwing clipboards down, had them in their feelings. Ooh. But small thing. The reason I come here is because outside of my family, I don't really have actually a lot of people in my life that I can talk basketball with. A lot of my people are just, high school buddies, college buddies, stuff like that. And the thing that I'm most thankful for as a Warrior fan is that because Steph Curry is so ingrained in pop culture now, I'm able to talk to them. They're able to recognize who Steph Curry is, and I can tell them about what I've seen and what this team means to me. And although they're not sports fans, I can't explain it. Somehow, some way, they get it. They might not understand basketball, they might not understand sports, but they get what I'm saying. They hear my words, and they understand that this team doesn't just mean something to me, but it means something to all of us. It means something to anyone that was lucky enough to find a way into Oracle and to watch these guys. It's incredibly special what I've seen, and I'm forever grateful for it. Now, this is Radio Roulette. Got to have a question. I got a simple one. You made the bet. What'd you see in this Warrior team that made you think, hey, they might have it?
That is good. Now I got to take myself back to Jimmy. Thank you for your thoughts, for your sermon. That I actually enjoyed. Comment section. You got to wait till he's done before you judge. Okay. But thank you, Jimmy, for taking the time this season. I always see you there in the lobby. Congratulations to you amongst all these other Warrior fans that I know have been in here through the highs and the lows and the conversations of, does Steve Kerr need to go? Should we go to the pick and roll? We were here for all that. Now the question was, what did I see that I booked that futures bet? I booked it October 8th. So that was a couple weeks before the season started. What did I see from this team? Well, first of all, as always, you're playing the number above all. So I would never take the Warriors if they were plus 300, plus 800, had them like ranked fourth or fifth amongst the favorites. It was the Lakers, the Nets, the Suns, and then who else was up there? I don't know who else was there, but I know the Warriors were either fourth or fifth amongst title favorites. And being booked at that number, knowing that this team, coming off of a play-in tournament loss, embarrassed by Ja Morant on their home floor without fans in attendance. And do I put any equity and value into Steph Curry saying, remember him after that game saying, watch out for us next year, and people were clowning him for saying that right after, like, dude, you just lost, go home. Knowing that they were going to get the full team back, and knowing that Klay was due back at some point, and Draymond was due back because he was hurt too. And then the draft picks of Kuminga and Moody. And you look at this roster, even now in the finals, and at the beginning of the season, you have more options because you could send two-way contracts through the G League if you need to. But there's something about getting Iguodala back. There's something about seeing what Andrew Wiggins did at the end of the season last year, and maybe if he somehow could be turned into a player that doesn't go isolation every time down the floor. He sure is athletic. We called him the walking B- for a reason. That's not a walking F. A B- is still a grade that gets you a degree. So everyone has always seen the potential there. And you would have thought that Wiseman was going to be included. That was the biggest. Honestly, I thought Wiseman was going to end up being the difference and the guy that could potentially match up against DeAndre Ayton in a conference finals. Was that you have a guy who's got the foot speed, the size, and length. And if you're going to get banged up on the glass, you've got Wiseman there. That was what I was thinking at the time. But last time I checked, even though he had just lost to Ja Morant on a team that was featuring Damian Lee and Sky Bowman as a part of their play-in tournament lineup. You know how they always say one ETH equals one ETH, one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. It's kind of the joke in the crypto community. One Steph Curry equals one Steph Curry. So if the Warriors, taking off all that time from the bubble to their injuries to the last two seasons, Jimmy just named all of those guys, the fallen soldiers along the way. I don't think I heard of Marquise Chris. Did I hear of Marquise Chris? But the Dragon Benders, Glenn Robinson III, Kelly Oubre, Kent Bazemore. You felt like, especially with Otto Porter Jr. on this team too, that they simply had the pieces, the perfect pieces to surround Steph Curry with. And as we sat here and just talk about guys and how we're increasing the currency value, the market value of positionless basketball players, the Golden State Warriors had more than I can count. Whether it was Otto Porter, Andrew Wiggins, Andre Iguodala, even Gary Payton II can guard your big guys because he's got that much type of verticality and defense. And then you got the Jordan Pooles. I know Jordan Poole's not a great defender, but they just had, it felt like at the time they had the perfect pieces. And you know what? At that number, I'm willing to take a shot that the Golden State Warriors return to their dynasty form. And they sure as hell did. So what did I have? I had 1,000 on that. That pays $8,000. And then I put out the tickets from earlier today, and the Andrew Wiggins rebounds, same thought process, goes into the finals picking Andrew Wiggins to record the most amount of rebounds, because I remember what I witnessed in that Memphis Grizzlies series, and I remember what I witnessed against the Dallas Mavericks, that they've got just athletes surrounding, now granted, not as good of athletes as the Boston Celtics, but when was the last time they had an Andrew Wiggins? The answer is Andre Iguodala and Leandro Barbosa. They didn't have one the past couple of seasons. One that could be out there in a finals game to close it out. No, not Brad Wanamaker. But the way Wiggins was able to keep the Memphis Grizzlies, who had Brandon Clark and Jaren Jackson Jr. and Steven Adams doing what the Warriors did to the Celtics in these finals, in terms of creating those second chance opportunities, you could have, in a very alternate world, the Memphis Grizzlies win that series in 5 games. If they didn't choke away that lead, it was either game 1 or game 2, and they go up 2-0. They should have had the game in Golden State, and hell, they should have even won those games without Ja Morant, that they blew a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. But it was always Wiggins that leveled the playing field. By hitting, he was the one guy that would go to the glass. So I'm looking at these numbers, and top rebounder, of course, you're thinking Draymond, you're thinking Looney, you're thinking Al Horford and Robert Williams because they're the biggest guys on the floor. But Andrew Wiggins provided a level of athleticism that the rest of this Warriors team no longer has, especially without Kuminga out there. And I got to give Steve Kerr credit for not being tempted by the forbidden fruit that was Kuminga's potential. He was the one guy that you could put out there and feel like, you know what, we need size, we need someone that can jump, and we need someone that's talented. Kuminga would have been your first choice. But he is a teenager, and he may not have been ready for this moment. And you put a lot on Andrew Wiggins' shoulders out there to go out there and do all of those things. Andrew Wiggins played 44 minutes tonight. In this series, he went 44 minutes, 43, 43, 40, 31 in the blowout. And in game 1, 35. In those final 4 games, he averaged 43 minutes on the floor, meaning he only took a break for 4 of them, or for 5 of them, excuse me. So how do we classify all of this that Jimmy was just talking about? And Steph Curry is the MVP. He's the most valuable player. Draymond Green is he's the MIP. He's the most irreplaceable player. But Andrew Wiggins sure reminds me, if Draymond was Dennis Rodman, it sure felt like Andrew Wiggins was Scottie Pippen. I think that's the biggest compliment that I can give him. Next up, going over to Kev. Said it was Maple Jordan. Yeah, I think it's really, honestly, Maple Pippin. At least on this team, he was. Before all of you keep saying that I'm filthy rich, I am not filthy rich. That makes up for a lot of losses, but yeah, I'm net positive now. Next up, we're going over to King Benjamin. Not too much. I'm going to need you just to speak up a little bit, Ben, if you wouldn't mind, and then I'll get you. All right. The floor is yours. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Go ahead if you can hear me.
Say what you want. Say what you want about the Warriors. Call them less talented than Boston. Call Draymond washed. Say that Klay's the same Klay. Keep disrespecting Curry. Call Andrew Wiggins Maple Leaf minus Jordan. The guy looked like Kawhi Leonard light out there. The Warriors listened to all the hate, and they answered by winning their fourth title on the road to Boston. I didn't see one person picking Golden State today. Not one. The legacy of the Warriors core, Steph, Klay, and Draymond, it's been cemented forever now. People were roasting Draymond after he was talking all that shit. They were down 2-1, and guess what? At the end of the day, they ended up backing it up, getting the last laugh. My question for you is, what do you think this team will look like going forward? Wiggins will be in the final year of his contract next year, and not to mention, they still got the young guys in the Wiseman community.
Yeah, Benjamin, unfortunately couldn't hear a word you were saying. I think the question was regarding what this team is going to look like and Andrew Wiggins' contract moving forward. And it's no fault of you guys. The calls keep getting quieter and quieter for some reason. Hopefully they get this fixed in the near future. But what's the team going to look like? And my thought process is, we have seen Lakeup and Goober. Did you see what happened when they were accepting the trophy, by the way? When he was mocking, I don't know if he was doing it on purpose to be malicious, but we did it in the Boston Garden. Like, oh, it was so cringe. It was so cringe. These guys, people make fun of Joe Lakeup and Goober a lot because they are very cringe in a lot of different ways. But how could you ever be mad at them considering how much money they spend to make this team great? I mean, we're talking about 9 figures worth of luxury tax. And this isn't meant to be, oh, woe is me for these billionaires. But they are doing what is necessary to keep this championship team together. And that's the most that a ownership group can do. So you don't need to applaud them for spending money that they very clearly have. But they could have very easily also made the decision to not spend that money. That's coming out of their pockets, and they're going to continue to be repeat offenders. And after watching what Andrew Wiggins just did, why would they not pay him? If they want to be the greatest basketball dynasty of all time, it's going to cost them, arguably, $1 billion to do it. How much is $1 billion worth to you, Goober and Lakeup? Would you rather have your billion or own the greatest team of all time? We're about to find out. Holy cannoli. Did you guys see Steph Curry's tweet, by the way? It's almost worth me taking a screenshot. If you didn't, bring it in here. Give me a second, because it's worth it. We had seen the celebration done multiple times this season. And I don't know if there's a better way to top it all off than this. Night, night. That is as much of a mic drop as we have ever seen. When in Rome. Okay. We'll try. Let's try again, because I know people in here have been patiently waiting. There's still a bunch of you. Hopefully Marcelo didn't fry Amp. Completely. Sounds like he was close. We'll try Latino Jinja. The Rainforest Cafe Party. Yeah. He put the league to sleep, didn't he? All right, well, Latino Jinja dropped, so this is going well. We'll try Yavin. I don't know if there are going to be many Celtics fans here. Made it 2 hours into the show. Well, he dropped too. All right. Well, if you guys keep dropping, then I believe we should call it a night here on AMP. AMP, it has been a pleasure this season. If you haven't followed the account already, if you wouldn't mind doing so before we shut the show down, that way you'll be notified when we go live again. This will not be the final show. Hopefully between now and the next time we do one, this app will be fixed. And we will discuss the draft and all the trades that occur that night. So while it's not done for the calendar year, this will be the season finale of Radio Roulette here on AMP. But the show is not over yet. If you want to come on over to Underdog Fantasy's YouTube channel, now would be the time. Have ourselves a little bit of an after party, and we're going to wrap up the season the way that we always do. Thank you for all the clap emojis in there. Thank you for struggling through as we came out of beta. We brought this app out of beta. And hopefully we continue to see its progression. But until next time, friends, here on AMP, you can sleep when we're dead. But for now, we go to sleep. And we do the after party. Okay, bye. For the final time this season. For the final time this season. It may be Thursday where you are, it may be Friday. But in this chat, it is always Sunday. It is endless. It is an endless Sunday here on 101.9. It's the after party. Welcome back for the last time tonight. For the last time this year. We have reached our final after party of the 2021-2022 campaign. I'm texting Cassidy to see if she wants to call in to say hi. Radio Roulette After Hours. How is everybody? Hey, Matt Perry, thank you. Carly, you're going to be at the draft. What did you think of the Kristen Wood trade? It is ours. So, real quick, remember how we ended the show last time? Asking Cassidy. We asked Cassidy about, is everything okay? So I said, here, hold on. I'll show it to you. She said she's at dinner with broadcast crews. 2:30 dinner? God damn. Okay. So Carly was curious about her. She said she wishes she could. Okay. But I said, are you awake? Show watchers want to know why you didn't wear your hoop earrings tonight and they are concerned. And she said, haha, that's so fucking funny. That can't be real. I'm on a plane. I've had to wear smaller earrings every show because my earrings keep hitting the Madonna mic and messing with the audio. But I felt naked without my hoops. Had to wear goddamn studs like an 8-year-old. And they were LV diamond studs, but still. And I said I'd let them know next show. So that was the answer for the hoops. I'll guilt trip her. I'll say, boo, okay, have fun. We'll be up a while. We never sleep. Yes, also, we had that conversation about the multi-texting. She sends 9 different text messages instead of putting it all into one. No, bad multitasking is not good. That is not how you text. What else? This is your show now, guys. This is it. This is it. Anything you want to get off your chest before we end the programming for the season? It won't really hit you that the show is over until Summer League is done. That's when it's going away for a while. But this is it for talking about this year before we move on to stuff that's going to affect next season. How weird is it, by the way? I always find that strange that teams can get a head start on next season while these two teams are still in the finals. Right? They can make trades and shit, but the Warriors can't, obviously, because they're still playing. The Christian Wood trade. I like the move for Dallas, man. He's going to be an expiring contract, but we know how players like to perform when they are on expiring deals. You're going to get the best version out of them. All that defense that he may or may not have played in Houston was mostly a result of nobody caring. He's not the best defensive player in the world, but they need creators and they need centers on that team, and Christian Wood provides that. You know, if they got a Miles Turner or a Gobert somehow, I would start to think that they might have the pieces in place to contest with the Warriors and the Suns. And they already beat the Suns, so there you go. My most surprising team next year. Are they technically surprising if they have the MVP? But the Denver Nuggets, with my favorite player in the league coming back with MPJ, they may get my money before the season starts the same way that the Warriors did. I'll take even before we get to free agency, I'm going to be looking to the Nuggets to hoist the Larry O'Brien next year. Where are my mods at? Thank you. Thank you, 7-8. I was about to have to get in there. Naked HD, you will be missed. How do the Knicks get better? Finding a way to get that guy from Arizona, Matherin. I want that guy. If we get Matherin, I'll be back. The Knicks need talent. Jalen Brunson, you have to figure, is as good as gone unless Mark Cuban's going to go that far into the luxury tax. By the way, Marcus Smart, when he flailed and he was on the ground injured and they didn't call anything and Steph Curry got to the corner and made a wide open three, like, man, talk about backfiring. He was not hurt. He got right back up. Am I going to go to the World Cup in 2026? Can I answer that question in 2026? Well, oh, here we go. What would I grade the NBA season? I'd give it a B+. I wouldn't go that high. Between the replacement players, between guys being out with COVID, the blowouts, the load management, I thought this regular season struggled a lot to be relevant. And the NBA, from a product standpoint, is really going to need to figure out how to get people's attention, because while we're in here, we're their best customers. You know, we're super fans, but I thought it was a really, really, it wasn't that it was uneventful, and you'll see tomorrow, there was plenty that happened. But they need to find a way to make the regular season matter more than it does. And it did matter because the Brooklyn Nets had to come through the play-in tournament. They ended up having to go to Boston, and those games matter, but they don't matter to the mainstream. So it felt tedious at times. It felt too long. I'll give the season a B. I'll give the season a B. Most improved player 2023, Kermit. We should go to Kermit, yeah. You can't be a sleeper with a two-time MVP on your team. Yeah, but the Nuggets haven't made the conference finals since 2008? It was a B. It was a B. An example of an A was 2016 with Kobe's finale, Kobe's victory lap, and the Warriors going for the all-time wins record. That was the best regular season, arguably ever. Hey, Caleb, thank you for taking this time to hang out with us. It's people like you that make it worth it, so right back at you. We get Kawhi. Oh, yeah, can the Clippers even be an underdog? Clippers are getting back Kawhi. Oh, man. Clippers might be favored in Vegas to win the title next year. They are fucking stacked. Is the video complete? Yeah, I've got nine minutes and exactly 30 seconds done, and I leave the final 30 seconds for the finals. So as soon as this show is over, I'm gonna go add the final 30 seconds, and it's gonna be up tomorrow. Did we get a Mike Breen bang? I believe we did. $2020, well, because the bubble and what led up to COVID, and that was the Kobe year too, it was much more of a headline. But in terms of the regular season mattering, I'd give it to 2016. Yeah, I did enjoy bubble basketball too. I know a lot of people didn't because there was no crowds and it was practically shooting in a practice gym, but I'll never forget that Jamal Murray game, that Jamal Murray series. That was Luka's coming out party, the Jimmy Butler, the block, the Bam Adebayo block, Jimmy Butler's performance against the Lakers, and ultimately the Lakers, right? Out of the timeout in the fourth was the Breen bang. Yeah. Corner three, Curry. Man, and on top of that, bubble ball was so needed. We went from March all the way through the beginning of August practically without basketball or anything. That was so desperately needed. And following those guys in the dorms, that was so good. It feels like an eternity ago. Bubble ball started the Suns, yeah. That was when they went undefeated in the bubble, and that catapulted them to the finals. I don't think we've heard the last from the Suns, but next year the Western Conference has the Warriors, the Suns, the Clippers, I guess the Lakers, the Pelicans with Zion, the Grizzlies, the Wolves will be back. Man, they are fucking... These teams are so talented. Yeah, nothing will ever beat Nuggets Jazz in a first round series. That's some of the highest quality basketball I've ever seen played. Johnny, what do I think about the Suns next year? I think there's a lot more competition in the West. I certainly think they will come out seeking vengeance, but do they have the guys that are good enough to act on it? I'm going to need to see Devin Booker take the next step. Oh, I was out in West Hollywood last weekend, by the way, and I saw Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul walk into Craig's together. That was interesting. Birthday boy, Steven. Happy birthday. Well, you know what? Why don't I do this with the chat? What was your... Can you guys... Now, I already have the video made, and I don't want to spoil it, but tell me what your favorite moment of the regular season was. And then we'll do the postseason, but regular season. What stood out to you? I'll start. Mine's easy. The greatest finish to a basketball game that has ever been witnessed between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the New Orleans Pelicans. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander makes a half-court heave to tie the game with 1 second left. They inbound the ball, and Devontae Graham throws the ball over his head from 80 feet away, and it goes in. It's the greatest finish to a basketball game we'll ever see. There was just no it was OKC versus New Orleans. Like, nobody cared about those two teams. But that basketball finish will never be replicated. The Devontae Graham shot is the greatest finish to a basketball game ever. Puke Walton. Did the puke happen this year? Wait, did that Sacramento puke, that happened this season? I thought that was last season. The Isaiah Stewart WWE match with Westbrook. Westbrook looking like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish logo. That was so funny. DeRozan's back-to-back game winners was awesome. I forgot about the puke. Man, I forgot puke. That was one of the funniest things. The Pels running out of the tunnel after the shot. Lance Stevenson's 20-point first quarter for the Pacers. Giannis hitting the three to send the Nets game into overtime was a good one, yep. Oh, the Jokic pass to Aaron Gordon in the corner. The one that he threw past what's-his-face. That was a pass, which even for Jokic was. Klay returning. RJ's buzzer beater against the Celtics. The Spurs shutting down Staples Center in the Lakers season. Joe Johnson coming into the game with the ISO bucket. Yep. Cam Johnson's bank three. That was so bad. That Suns team had no one playing that night. They still beat the Knicks anyway. Kyrie's 50. He had 60 in Orlando. Yeah, thank you, Cameron. Jaylen Green, 40 points. Sir, I've been seeing the dunk contest. Remember the dunk contest? How about Steph Curry's record-setting three in Madison Square Garden? Anthony Edwards' dunk, the one that got called an offensive foul against Gabe Vincent. Bing bong. That was this season too. Oh my God. Bing bong. Andre Drummond peace sign during the fast break. Yep. That was in Miami. Russell Westbrook's bank shots. Josh Giddey's youngest triple-double ever. That was pretty sweet. Any Jose Alvarado steal. Yeah, any of his sneak attacks. There was so much good shit. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Nuke Kennard. Yeah, Luke Kennard's 4-point play. That comeback against the Wizards had to be 30-plus points. Wow. And the Clippers did that so many times without Paul George or Kawhi. The Cleveland Cavaliers were a fun story. That highlight they had against the Knicks, I have in the video. Cavs were a lot of fun this year. Giddey double-double with 0 points. Yeah. 73-point blowout. That made the video. The Cavalanches, the original Avalanche. Those Cavalanches that occurred at the end of the half were fucking awesome. Oh, the chicken. Yeah, anything involving John Morant dunking the basketball, man. Those Grizzlies, they had so many highlights. I could have done my own video with just Grizzlies highlights. Yeah, the power dunk on Pirtle. No, it was Austin Reeves, that final game against the Nuggets when they were already eliminated and Mac McClung threw down a reverse dunk in the paint. I was laughing out loud at that game. That was awesome. When he caught Westbrook's air ball and he was like, yeah, that shit was so funny. Yeah, I guess there were a lot of good moments, huh? Oh, God. Those Knicks recap videos. Am I going to be doing that again next season? I guess I am. I got to watch all those Knicks games again. Ugh. Maybe the Mets will win a World Series. Make me feel better. Yeah, I would love nothing more than to show you guys the video, but again, we've been hit with so many NBA DMCAs, I can't afford to have the stream taken down until I can edit it. How many Tony Snells happened this season? Well, remember when Danny Green's was rescinded, that the NBA added a rebound? How great was that? Oh God, welcome to hell. Yeah. I was welcoming myself to hell, I think. And I didn't know it at the time. That was many gray hairs ago. 7-8, did you mean to put the pun in there? 7-8 says so many great moments. Feels light years ago. Like the Light Years Warriors. Danny Green. Of course, Danny Green is Mr. Entertainment. Oh, KD telling Fournier he was too small in French. What is it, like, petite? You too petite. He's such a troll. Oh, Kevin Porter when he got robbed at that triple-double. I remember that, yeah. What's up with Danny Green? Is he sick? Oh, trop petite. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot he tore his ACL. Damn. That means his career's over, right? Pretty much. Shit. Well, 3 rings later, he's doing just fine, and a national championship. Tore his ACL and MCL? Oh, jeez. Oh, you remember Chuck? A lot of inside the NBA moments with Charles Barkley. The bus. When they drove the bus off the parking lot, that was fucking good. Yeah. Oh, Jokic Bros versus the Morris twins when Jokic's brothers were out there, yeah. Remember when they created a Twitter account? Chuck and KD. Do you guys remember the All-Star draft when no one would pick Harden and they trolled KD into picking Gobert instead of Harden? You guys remember that shit? That was so funny. The clipboard with LeBron. There were a lot of good moments. I'll tell you this, there were enough good moments that I had to make cuts on my video. I left about 25 videos out of the final cut. Maybe I'll follow up the tweet with the ones that didn't make it, but there were a lot. Army of producers. You're welcome for that one. The clipboard, man. That clipboard, the LeBron clipboard will go down in infamy. You know what didn't make that was the Cole Anthony interview. When he was that I had to cut that one. Cole Anthony when he was like, yeah, shout out Mo Bamba. Shout out to my teammates. Let's go. And he's just like staring at the camera doing it. This shit was so funny. Shout out Mo Bamba. Sorry, I did that wrong. Shout out Mo Bamba. That's what he was saying. What else didn't make it? Karl Anthony Towns had a couple of buzzer beaters that I had to cut at the beginning of the season. He hit one against the Memphis Grizzlies. I had to get rid of that one. Catherine, I feel like a lot of those are specific just to you. The Blevins game. I remember when Anthony Simons kind of took over for Dame. And then he had his coming out party there for a week where he was dropping like 40 a night. How about Kyrie? Remember when Wiggins wouldn't get vaccinated? That was a thing. And then he eventually got the shot. Now look where he's at now. Michael Jordan at the All-Star game. You better believe all of those moments are in the video. He wasn't even supposed to be there, and he just showed up. The magnitude of that moment was, whoo! Didn't that Blazers Thunder's Tankathon game at the end of the season go to overtime? Did that go to overtime? Now, the MJ drunk video you guys are talking about is when he found Magic Johnson in the concourse. And he goes, go get your shorts right now. We go play one-on-one if you want to. And then Magic Johnson's over there going, that shit is so funny. Just like giggling his ass off. He went to double OT. The Tankathon game went to double OT. Yeah. Oh, the Tatum spinning buzzer beater. That was against the Nets, right? That was from a Marcus Smart pass, I think. Yeah, wow. I was holding up the iPad to bootleg it, yeah. Kelly Oubre had 10 threes? I forgot about that one. Oh, Drew's steal and block. Yeah. That was a good one. Yeah, Derrick Rose should be back next year, shouldn't he? CP3's perfect game was against New Orleans, right? Jordan Clarkson did have a 50-point game. Why am I sitting by my couch? Because it's comfortable down here. I'm sitting on pillows. Olga. I don't think Olga's there. I haven't seen her. The packages are still outside of Olga's place, so she may be gone. I may have forced her out of the apartment. I will be at Summer League this year. That's the plan, yeah. Yeah, that Kyrie game in Orlando. Remember Sadiq Bey? There was a streak of 50-point games there at the end of the regular season where every night a 50-point game was happening. Sadiq Bey had one, and they were all against the Magic. What does an NBA free weekend look like? I got a buddy coming in from Atlanta who I used to work with in New Orleans with the Hornets. He's going to be here tomorrow, and we're doing the circuit around Los Angeles, so we'll be out and about. But we have the draft on next Thursday, so you got that to look forward to. There'll be trades and stuff going on around then. There'll also be free agency, but for the most part, I will be out and about. And I got trips planned. Be in Vegas. I'll be in Montana. I'll be in Nashville. I'll be in Columbia. Where else am I going? That's it for now. But I will be off the grid. Yeah, the Wizards were the #1 team in the East for like a month. Yes. Catherine, you have a very selective memory. The Wizards started off 11-3. Burrito drop in Colombia. Burritos aren't a South American food, are they? That's more of Latin America. Hey man, I got free time. Again, I have not had free time like this because of either COVID or the NBA running along to have a summer off. Oh, you better believe these poker chips are going to be in play pretty damn soon here, once I get to the World Series. Well, New York shut down 7th Avenue after starting 1-0. Wasn't that the opening night? I know it's part of Latin America. I'm just saying South America. The day, you guys need to prepare for the day that comes that Wob is no longer doing these shows or creating content. I don't think that will be next season, so you don't need to worry. But at some point it's going to happen. Probably would have happened already. But you guys keep coming back, and all these places keep wanting us to be a part of their brand. Like Underdog has been such a great partner for us, and you guys have returned the favor by either downloading their app, using their app if you're into fantasy stuff. Amp wants us to come back. We're like one of their most popular shows. And half my audience can't even use it because of droids and international. Like, you guys show up and deliver. And if you keep showing up and delivering, then I will do the same. So it's a grind. And I sacrifice my social life for 8 to 9 months out of the year to bring it to you. I don't know what possessed me one day to say I'm never going to miss a dribble of any game for the entire season. But I've been doing it now for 8 years. Watch every game, every fucking game. It's a lot. Everyone else is out there having fun, and I'm watching Kings fans puke on themselves against the fucking Jazz on a Saturday night. That's my Saturday night for 8 months a year. I know it's a priority for AMP to fix the app and get it out internationally. So hopefully by the time that we come back next season, it'll be flawless and all the above. I still owe you a Wob Tub stream for... No. I don't think I agreed to that, Gigi. The only thing I agreed to was if you got to 10K subs this year on YouTube, and we're at like 8.35 or something. So you failed there too. I miss Tosin. I do miss Tosin. I will be. I don't know if I owed a hot tub. Maybe during the summer. No, you know what? It will be a hot tub video from the burner on Twitter. That's what it will be. It will be during the summer at a random time. It'll be me checking in saying hello. How many burritos can I buy with that amp bag? They pay for all the burritos that I've been dropping. I'm going to be dropping a shit ton of burritos in the near future. But hey, you know what I need to do? I need to load my account and see if they've paid me for these bets yet. Boy, have they. Woo-hoo-hoo, baby. Current balance, 19,565. Woo! That makes up for that that bad week of minus 15 grand. I am back. And if you're interested, today I bet some World Cup futures. I bet Belgium and Denmark to win the World Cup. Belgium at plus 1,200, Denmark at plus 2,800. Then I bet the United States to win Group B at plus 600. I bet Ghana to win Group H at plus 1,100. And then I bet my underdog of the World Cup, who I think can make it to the quarterfinal. I actually believe this. Canada to win Group F. There you go. Free picks for you guys from the guy that just hit 20 grand. Oh, Gigi, did you win? I thought that was your name that got pulled up there. Yeah. Free $100. I wasn't lying. I gave away $1,000. I know Belgium's in the same group as Canada, but there's a reason why Canada is such a big dog. Yo, somebody said when you come to Nashville, something about a burrito. You got to make it cooler. I looked up the weather next week for the NASCAR race. It's supposed to be 102 in Nashville. What the fuck? Bro, it is barely touching 7. It has been barely 70 degrees here for the past year, and I'm about to walk into 102. Hey, no way you hit any of these? That's your opinion. You're talking to someone that does this shit for a living, so. You're talking to someone who bet Shohei Ohtani to win MVP. Somebody who bet the Braves at 30-1 to win the National League pennant last year. These are sports that are not basketball. No, go to Vegas in July. There's a difference between 110 in Vegas versus 102 in Nashville with 90% humidity is a completely different story. I would rather be in 110 in Vegas than 90 in the Southeast. It is muggy as fuck. I expect you to control the weather. Go out there and start making it cooler. Just make it cooler. Any locusts going to be at Summer League? Would Catherine dare go to Summer League? She seems like someone that would go to Summer League by herself. Not that I'm judging. I go to Summer League by myself. By the way, there will be still police streams throughout the summer, so I'll be here. Dry and humid. You're just no. The Vegas heat is not that bad. Vegas is my homeland, but also no. Oh, thanks. What player am I most looking forward to watching at Summer League? Probably Chet and Matherin. If you see me at Summer League, Cameron's asking, can we go up to you? Dude, just come up and say hello. I'm as easily approachable as I am in these phone calls. They never meet your heroes because they'll probably let you down. I don't know if I am anyone's hero, but I am as normal as it gets, I think. Hey. Yeah, if you see me and you're representing Locust, We Are Locust, I'm going to know that you are someone that was in the chat. Even deeper. There's a difference between someone who follows me and someone who's a Locust. That's how I know you're like, you got the badge, you know what I mean? How do you get the audio only feed? Yeah, AMP doesn't archive it, so you got to watch it on YouTube. You just got to find me, Gigi. A locust, they'd say a fisherman can spot another fisherman. A locust can spot another locust. Am I still down to hoop when you're in LA? If I'm around, sure. I still haven't been back to Venice Beach Courts since that fateful day. Gigi! By K, you meant Catherine, not me. Oh. Wow, Catherine's got a house in Vegas. All locusts, turn Catherine's house into Project X, please. If you're there in July, you know where to find me. I'll be there for most of July, probably. I think K meant Catherine, not like K. Locust house. Locust. Code word is Marcello. Password at the door is Marcello. Or dry wipe is a bad wipe. Come to Australia. I would love to go to Australia, but I'm too scared of those giant bugs. Oh, it's been, thankfully, Raptors Kate has been overtaken by some other locusts. Thank the Lord. Of course, Catherine roots for Kate. And Kate is like the Boston Celtics. Self-inflicted wounds cost her the title. Turnovers, Mr. Free Throws, lack of consistency, bright lights, or maybe shined a little too bright. It's unfortunate. Highlight of the Radio Roulette season was Wob figuring out what a pog is. Yeah. What else happened this year on stream? Anything else you guys enjoyed about this show? Have I touched a basketball since April 5th? No. I stopped playing. I've been playing more tennis. Gigi, you're spoiled. You got the Celtics, you got McDavid, you got some damn good teams to root for, even though they fell up a little short. Wob is getting an air fryer. And that I'm not. Boat Girl and show recommendations. Boat Girl was a trip. I saw her on Bumble the other day. New profile picture, too. Too bad. Would have been great for her. Silhouette Girl. Who is that? Hearing Wobb's takes are spiritual. Yeah, sounds like a compliment. I'll always remember you shutting down the guy who wanted to trade Tatum and Brown. I remember that guy. I can't believe he was serious. I think I was respectful because he was actually being respectful with his question. But boy, it was that bad. Oh yeah, ZZ and I's little FaceTime phone date was fun. The girl from Out the Window. Oh yeah. Beach Girl. Yeah, Beach Girl is out of the picture. I cut that one off. Boat Girl was a saga, wasn't it? Yeah. She had me all fucked up. Remember when I was going to buy her a watch? You guys saved me the money that it was going to cost. How mad you got at me for almost buying her a watch? Go Gators says, love you, Wob. Hope the Magic draft Boncaro or Jabari. Gonna watch a new episode of The Boys and go to bed. Oh, that's on right now. You're right. Already called out for work tomorrow in preparation of the NBA Finals. That man is living life wonderfully. Nicely done, my friend. You go enjoy. Yeah, I think Catherine came in after the watch saga. You're such a new Locust. You got some mouth on you for being such a newbie. Harden Simmons trade. Yeah. Catherine, you need to become the apprentice to Carly. Carly is like Palpatine. You are like Vader. Rob, I told you Dream on Masterclass. I put all my money on him and now I got it all back times 5. Dream? What does that mean? Dream on Masterclass. Oh, Draymond. Draymond Masterclass, yeah. Catherine is Yoda. Oh yeah, Catherine did used to call in. Why did you stop calling in? You and Carly are the only people preventing this from becoming a full sausage fest. Catherine is the Aunt Edwards of Locust. She's more like the Kermit. What was Kermit's last name? Oh, man, I forgot about... Damn, Lexi. I told her she might come on for... Maybe she'll FaceTime me. Want to... The frog. What was the frog? Oh yeah, Ambry. Thank you. No, there's. I know there's a lot of women in the chat, but I'm saying call in. Kermit Wiltz. Come through, baby. It's locust hours. What's sad is Lexi probably doesn't even know what locust is. Or Antarctica Nation. Maybe she does. She's still on the chat with you guys. No, hey, Amber, you can call in and talk about anything you want. Come through, baby. It was appropriate that there was an avalanche tonight, wasn't there? Third quarter avalanche, nevertheless. Oh, Lexi does know? Good, that's good to know. You said that you play tennis. Who's the tennis goat? I mean, the women, can you make the argument that it's not Serena? Steffi Graf. It's either Steffi or Serena. On the men's side, it's Federer, Nadal, but it may ultimately be Djokovic by the time he's done. But Nadal just keeps winning, man. The chat is brutal when you call in, though. Yeah, it's a lot easier behind the keyboard, isn't it? I gotta be out here putting my face on these takes for 3 hours a night for 8 months straight. How do you think I feel? No, we've had plenty of good female callers. The Golden State Warriors fan? Let's go to the monitor. Yeah, we went to the monitor for the last time tonight, didn't we? NBA Twitter was dragging my guy Windhorst. For the some comments he made about Lake Up or something. It's the world we live in. I'm always Team Windy. Take foul will be gone by next year. No, Ariel. Ariel, sometimes you just need to call. If you want to call in just to chat too, you don't need to be firing off analytics. Or some people just don't feel comfortable, and that's cool too. If you want to sit here in the chat and chill, that's cool. But unless there's a difference, because some people call in. Unless you're malicious and I could tell you're being petty or something, I'm pretty good about being respectful of people's opinions, whether I agree with them or not, or if it's a bad question. They eventually start to annoy me, but it takes a lot for that to happen. Marcelo's in an Uber right now. Can you please play for me that Windhorst? Oh! How do you guys remember that? That's from a long time ago. That was a Vine. Unless I'm in a bad mood. The eye roll scares me. I know. I haven't been in a bad mood in a while, have I? Did I see the Andrew Wiggins clip today that was going around about him listening to a Michael Bolton song? I did not. Oh, Catherine's... I've given you plenty of eye rolls. I'm just not with you on the phone. Do we think Catherine is confrontational in real life? I don't think she is. She's only confrontational behind a keyboard, which she's good at, but... Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. No chance. I bet you're a sweetheart. Every single person that, sends me shit in the comments, they're always the first ones to come up there and try and take pictures and stuff. Not that I'm worth it, but that's the way the world works. Oh, you're a menace always. That's the red hair. That's a gene with red hair. They're always menaces. Robin Hood. Well, oh, that was another Marcelloism, wasn't it? Or was that Johnny Football? Salt Lake City. I'll probably be there for that one. I'm excited. Never been to Salt Lake before. Radio Roulette calls with the Zooms. That's how this show got started. That was the first ever Radio Roulette, the same way the first ever late night with Wob was cooking pizza rolls. That was the first day that Periscope became an app, 2015. I just tried it. I just went live just to see what the hell it was. But yeah, that Zoom COVID Radio Roulette, after we were done doing director's cuts, was the first edition of Radio Roulette, which is, it's the same thing as Late Night with Wob, but it evolved. Hang on with us, Ariel. You can make it. Yeah, I know someone here in LA, and she's such a menace, and she does it on purpose, too. I think we're out of games to do director's cuts for. You telling us you never eat fruit or veggies and revealing your supplements. Yeah, that was a night. How did our two teams do in the app game? Well, we ended up with 3, and I think the other 2 just made their money back enough that we got our entry fee back. So we came out net 0. Yeah, Beads is pretty great. Hopefully she'll be back on again. Where can I sit? Well, guys, I got some work to do on you know what. Comment section slowing down a little bit. Is it that time? Is it time to call it for the last time this season? Is it time for the ceremonies? Season's over. It is almost that time, the last time. Fast food, fries, power ranking. I'll go McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King. But in terms of chicken nuggets, I'll go Burger King, Wendy's, McDonald's. I know, you guys would keep me on all night if you could. But at some point we gotta pull the plug on this season. Gallinari's gonna hit different tonight, isn't it? The last time. There's no guarantee we get to the after party on some of these future streams too, so this could potentially be the last Gallo. Helwick says, is the real reason we want to extend the show because we're scared to be alone with our thoughts at this hour. That's the reason for doing this too, is it's a safe place for all of us to procrastinate the night away. Yeah, we'll be back. I'll be back. I'll go live after the first round of the draft. As soon as the second round starts, we'll go live. It was a great year, guys. I did enjoy Despite getting mad at you sometimes, you get mad at me too. It's part of being a family. A lot of fun moments, both our own, NBA related. It's Olga. It's not goodbye. It's see you later. That's how we'll sign off tonight. I think it's time to hit the code. Ranger, you want to do us the honors? All right. Wait, let me see if Lexi responded. No, she didn't. Okay, go to the closing ceremonies. Do not worship any other player. Thou shalt get thy buckets. Remember the Sabbath oath. Keep it holy. Pay reparations to those who sacrifice. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Covet thy ball. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Honor thy veterans as thou would honor thyself. Force the word of the code of non-practitioners, and thy ball shall never, ever, 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 ever lie. In the name, winning buckets and pettiness, may the peace of the code be with you always. And the music just perfect mood change there to sadness and goodbye. It's like the end of Lord of the Rings when Frodo gets on that ship that no one knows where he went still to this day. Also with you, also with all of you. Thank you, as always, for your kind AAWYs. For the last time, let's say something nice about Royce O'Neal. Ambry, that's not saying something nice. I've had 3 Wabisms since the midnight. It turned over. And also with Catherine. No AAWKs. Royce is soaking up the Salt Lake City Rays right now. Royce O'Neal looks like he gives a great hug. Royce O'Neal is probably enjoying a nice relaxing offseason. Royce O'Neal helped me with my homework. Royce did not score 2 points in the 4th quarter. See you soon, Royce O'Neal. Royce O'Neal would never stoop so low as to instigate as a Blazers fan. Royce putting in extra hours in the gym for a breakout year next season. Royce O'Neal didn't win a champion. Hey, that's not saying something nice. Royce O'Neal didn't shoot 33% in a do or die game. Royce is great. Did I just run out of Endless Sunday? I did. Wow, how long have we been doing this freaking show for? Royce O'Neal would initial spell the name Ron. Royce O'Neal probably hasn't shot a ball since April. Royce O'Neal loves to hear about the Suns. And also, okay. Royce O'Neal would have a nice summer. Well, we had Jish News stat of the night earlier about Wiggins, but Helwick, do you have anything for us that can fill in the portion of the show? I'll try to interview Royce O'Neal. Yeah. Stat of the night 1. The Warriors are still undefeated in playoff series when Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green start every single game. And his second stat of the night, Steph Curry is the first point guard to win the Finals MVP since 2007. Tony Parker, a legendary performance by number 30. And hey, Gabe has one for us too. The Warriors ended this postseason 20-1 when Draymond Green hits a 3, including 7-0 in the playoffs. Even Luke has them for us. Tonight's 21-0 run by the Warriors was the longest in a finals game in the last 50 years. The last 20-0 run in the NBA Finals was also by Golden State, Game 2 of the 2019 Finals. I was there for that game. Stat of the night, we are sad. It's about those hours, my friends. Let's see. Your World War II fact of the show. Did you know a spy led the Nazis on a wild goose chase? One of the most Let me start again. One of the most colorful characters of the war was Juan Pujol Garcia, a Nazi spy. In reality, he was a double agent for the British and specialized in feeding the Germans false information. While his Nazi bosses believed he lived in Britain, Garcia actually went to Portugal and just made up his reports from the United Kingdom, despite knowing very little about British life and culture. The Germans were impressed, despite Garcia's dubious cultural blunders. In one report, he described how Scottish people were avid wine drinkers. Garcia even invented a Welsh fascist movement known as the Brothers of the Aryan World Order, who apparently operated out of Swansea, one of his many coups and diversions. That is your World War II fact of the show. Real life Christoph Waltz. We are all avid wine drinkers, aren't we? Yeah. One more shout out to our friends that have now resurfaced here on Twitch. All of these names on Gigi's chunky dunky background here. Ben and Jerry's tiles. I always said we would never forget you. And on the last show of the season, I fulfill that promise once again. Thank you to everyone that keeps the show afloat. About that time. This is it, folks. Time to get it out. Night night. Everyone wants night night. It's night night. It's not only night night for this show, it is night night for Stephen Curry in the NBA Finals and all those that have committed sacrilege blasphemy to the dynasty that has now returned. He's back. He's back. Voldemort is back. The Empire has struck back. That's how we're going to end this show. The Empire strikes back. There was a new hope last season with Giannis, but the Empire is here. Who will return of the Jedi? We'll find out next year. Till next time, my friends, it has been a pleasure serving you and being your on-camera microphone for the season. Look out for the special season recap video tomorrow. I'll miss you guys. Until we meet again, this has been the 2021-2022 NBA season. And as we wrap up every show at the end of the year, it is not goodbye. It is see you later.
And look who's joining us. It's how you doing, Danilo?
I'm very good after this song. Very good.
That's Weber doing.